I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what is meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my work. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
It's the penultimate day of the Brawl Stars Challenge season, and with Zeta locking in their spots to Cologne, only 3 spots remain. For the rest of our teams, there is an intense battle for the rest of the spots, and with a packed mid-table, that anybody's for the taking. Everyone, this is the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look. You won't stop my stride.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We're on day 6 of the action through the challenge season of Brawl Stars, and it's getting on. It's getting very far on, and it is sad to see. But we're getting towards the stage where we see more than one team qualifying to the challenge finals. I am Trav, your host for the duration of today, and I'm joined by the 3 beautiful people next to me. Uck, we'll start with you. How are you doing?
Doing great. I am so excited for today, honestly, because every single match can have a huge knock-on effect. And for the teams that remain to try to lock themselves in, it is all honestly for the taking. I want to see some upsets today.
Well, we're hoping for some upsets. The match days are getting closer and closer now. We're already in the second to last one. And I'm kind of sad, again, because those 2 days are going to be the last ones I'm able to cast with you. Of course, we also have the Gamescom. Cologne is going to be amazing too.
I'm excited to see who's going to come off top at the end of the day, especially since the first one is going to set a stone. Let's see how the day goes. So it's all kind of relying off this first game here.
Yeah, there really is going to be some intriguing matches, and I won't want to be doing it with anybody else than you 3 gorgeous, gorgeous people. But obviously, go and follow all of our social media channels at ESL Mobile on both Twitter and Facebook, and at ESL_mobile over on the Instagram. Also, if you're a player and you want to get in on the action in future seasons, make sure to go to discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series to sign up, hear all the news, and get in on the action. With that said, for the newcomers here, we're going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of the format arc.
Yeah, absolutely so. You know, we've gone through splits 1 and 2 to establish our 8 teams that have made it all the way through to this stage of the competition, and that is the challenge season. 8 of the very best going round robin head-to-head on a week-by-week basis to determine the top 4. Those top 4 will make it to our challenge finals at Gamescom Cologne, and I could not be more excited. We've already seen Zeta Division do their thing, and now we're looking for 3 more.
Yeah, well, talking about Gamescom Cologne, Sonny, we're going to have a chat about the cash as well, because that's what these teams are going to be playing for. And obviously, as I said, we've had 1 team qualify already, so they've already locked in at least 4th here.
So the players aren't only playing for pride and honor, but also for $50,000 that are on the line here, with even some money for the last place here. Nobody goes home empty-handed. $20,000, though, is going to be for our first place. Not bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure anybody's going to complain about that $20,000, but they're going to have to make it there first. That's the issue. Getting there is always the toughest part. Sven, give us a little bit of a chat through our schedule, because we've got some intriguing games today. We're getting to the point where it's make or break for so many of these teams, and it's going to be decided probably throughout a couple of these games today.
Yeah, easily today, it can be decided who will be going home and who will maybe reach in Cologne. But the first game, we have Foot versus Humble, which is going to be an absolutely crazy game. Both teams 2 and 3 at the moment, so that's going to be a really interesting one. We have Mr. Dozer versus SK, we have EUR&MENA versus Zeta, 2 of the best teams right now in the whole of EU, basically, and especially in the Snapdragon Pro Series as well. And Navi versus Team Queso, so 4 certified bangers today, Trav.
Yeah, we've spoken about pretty much everything other than these BSC points that are on the line arc, and they mean so much to so many of these teams. Why don't you give us a little bit of a chat through this table, see where teams sit, and see how it's going to affect it.
Well, as we already saw, Zeta Division riding high in the BSC, and as a result of locking themselves in for the challenge finals, guaranteed to get more BSC points on top of things. You know, Reply Totem and Emma Fantasy did not make the Snapdragon Pro Series Challenge season, so they will not be necessarily able to establish anything greater than they've already got, you know, outside of the BSC. But for Navi, for Humble, for Foot Esports, and A&R down at the bottom, you know, they are doing fantastically well at the moment, down in that, you know, 4-1. If they continue to reign victorious over the Snapdragon Pro Series, they can absolutely shoot up their way on that leaderboard. Every single match matters. It's a very important match for them today.
It means absolutely everything for every single one of the teams we've got in this competition, but the common denominator seems to be Zeta Division on top. Let's take a little bit of a look at our SPS leaderboard, see how things are playing out below those, because we know they've already guaranteed themselves that spot at Gamescom Cologne whilst being 5-0. But for the rest of them, Sonny, it's all up in the air.
We're on match day 6, and with only one team locked in so far, we have a lot of teams with the possibility to still make it to Cologne. Pretty bunched up there. A&R, if they win today, of course, they're locked in as well. For Navi, SK Gaming, Humble, and Foot Esports, everything's still open. For Team Queso, it doesn't only depend on their own performance. They do need to win on both match days now, but it also depends how the other teams are gonna do. Mr. Dozer, they're still playing for some pride and honor and can still get some more prize money.
Yeah, I will say as well, you know, it is in a lot of our team's hands. As I said in the opener, we've got such a mid-packed leaderboard there, and it's all up for grabs still. And, you know, teams like Foot Esports, who were starting off 0-3, starting to claw the way back through, every single game matters for them and for every other team as well, because they want cash, they want the points, they want everything. We'll go over a little bit of a recap of the previous game day as well to jog your guys' memories and also jog our memories as well, because we watched these games play out, Spen, and they were all brilliant.
Yeah, every single game was fantastic. First, we had Humble versus a Mr. Dozer, where, especially in the first game, it was a little bit dominant on the side of Humble, but then Mr. Dozer did show some sign of life throughout Gem Grab and also throughout Bounty, but it was Humble who reigned supreme in the end, and they're looking really strong at the moment, especially in this Heist game. It was just so dominant.
I think a great warm-up, isn't it, for today's match against Foot Esports. And Humble are, again, that team which can really just turn the tide when they need to. Moving on then into SK Gaming versus A&R. And A&R, of course, were playing with Alex on their roster, so it wasn't their normal traditional lineup. And they got that first set very convincingly so, and I was kind of a bit worried, actually, for SK Gaming, but they did respond in kind to make it a 3-1 scoreline in their favor. And that's the thing about SK Gaming, especially in that round of Hot Zone as well. Yoshi absolutely doing work, and you know, it really is a joy to see when SK just jump into the deep end.
Foot Esports versus Team Queso was our third match of the day, and Foot had some really tough opponents in the first few weeks. Now they finally start winning some and sweeping Team Queso 3-0. We only had 3 sweeps in total in the whole season, and Team Queso took 2 of those.
Yeah, and finally we had Zeta versus Navi to close things off. And boy, was it an absolute classic, because it went all the way to the 5th set, but we've seen so many close moments. We've seen some amazing coordinated plays on Heist. We've seen some really crazy turnarounds from Angel Boy on the Stu as well, which was really cool to see. And in the end, it's predictable, but it's Zeta coming off on the top of things and securing himself a spot to Cologne. Well, already securing it, basically, so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Zeta Division have been so convincing throughout, so Navi getting that far and taking them to that final game, it really was a very good showing for them, and we saw so many good showings as well. Sad to see Team Queso on the receiving end of a couple of those sweeps, because they've proved to us a lot more than they had done in previous seasons. You know, they were sitting down there in 0-7 getting pretty much destroyed by every single team last season, and they've come back and kind of played so much better this season as well. But I liked your point as well about Cordelia, Spen. We'll get to him in a minute, because he's going to be the dominant amount of bans, but obviously first we want to talk about which brawlers were picked the most. We'll get this thrown up on the screen in just a minute, because these statistics are really intriguing and they seem to change game day to game day, Ark.
Yeah, they really do, but you know, I think Bonnie's been consistently there in the top 3 area, B as well. But Brock and Bonnie on number 6. Look at how bunched together, though, everyone else is on that number 4. Cordelius, though, shot straight into that position, and that makes me very curious to how he will fare today as well. Carl, Crow, Ems, and Bell. You know, it's not really too surprising to see these kinds of brawlers, considering how versatile they really are. But you know, consistency is quite key when it comes to these top picks. And obviously, as well, we see for the same reason a lot on the ban side as well. But I loved seeing Cordelius yesterday. I've got to bring it back around to that match against Zeta as well. And the comp that Navi ran there was beautiful on Pistol with the Willow in combination. But, you know, no surprises here for me for a lot of these brawlers, but you can just see how equal the whole table is.
Yeah, Brock finding his way onto this as well, pretty much coming out of nowhere, and we saw him played out a lot on some of these long-range maps, on some of the heist maps, on some of the, especially Infinite Doom bringing him in quite a lot as well. But let's talk a little bit about those bans as well, Sonny, because we saw Shelly still sitting as the queen, but Cordelius just below.
Yeah, no surprise there. Shelly's still probably top of the match at the moment. Cordelius is looking very strong. We haven't seen him played out that much yesterday. Maybe today a bit more. I would love to see it, and I feel like we all four want to see it a bit more. Squeak and Crow are follow up there. And yeah, as you said before, every single game day we have other bans, we have different picks as well. Gonna be interesting to see what the teams have in their mind for today.
Yeah, and obviously as well, we do seem to usually see a bit of correlation between those picks and bans, because when they're not banned, they're pretty much going to be picked, put it that way. But Shelly, to be honest, really wasn't that much yesterday. You know, I think it was picked maybe once, and it did actually get beaten, I believe, yesterday. So definitely not the best win rate for her on that. But we do have to start talking about this first match. It's going to be a very, very decisive one, because it means so much to both of these teams, Ark.
Yeah, they are both on 2 and 3, and that is a crucial pinnacle moment in the competition for FUT Esports and for Humble. And you know, I was looking back through as well, like the previous competition scorelines, and I was surprised to see that they haven't really actually faced off against each other too much. But for FUT Esports, they did have the tougher run in that first week. You know, going up against the mightiness of like Zeta, like A&R, they had a tough run. But then they started to pick up the pace, and this is now a crucial point in time for them. Semantic, Lenan, and Drage today, they've got to get this one right. They really, really do, because they got Navi on the final play day, but Humble are the first stone in their journey.
The last 2 match days, they did win. Let's see if they can repeat what they did in the last week. We had some amazing plays by them yesterday against Team Queso, obviously a 3-0 sweep. I don't think they can repeat this one against Humble today, but again, I would love to be surprised there.
Yeah, it's going to be a really close game, and I'm excited to see how things really fare off, because as Og clearly mentioned, the fact that they've only probably faced off like 1 or 2 times maybe throughout the whole year, we don't actually know how to face off head-to-head. We know how to face off against other teams, but it's a completely different ball game when they're facing off against each other. There's all different strategies that go into it, and for me, I'm excited really to see Lukey back as well. We've seen him come back yesterday, he popped off, but now against a little bit more fiercer, sorry, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, as well, we do have to talk a little bit about Humble, because they have been not the most consistent team throughout this competition. I will say, on their downfall, I won't say Filippo was the downfall, but you kind of expect it. He came in, I just said I won't, Sonny, don't react like that. Come on now, I said Filippo, I won't say he's the downfall, because he did play very well. But statistically, if you're subbing someone in, you're not going to play as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something to be said when it comes to kind of like the normal lineup that we tend to see this team run. But I think Humble have had some really great moments. I mean, again, looking back, you know, it was in the March BSC monthly finals where they did face off against FUT, and that was back in March. That's the thing to remember. But however, it was a 3-0 sweep in favor of FUT Esports. For Humble today, they cannot afford to let that happen. They've got to show more resilience, more resistance, and they have been that team that this year have been growing and learning from their mistakes. And I really do admire that about them. And I think, especially coming off the back of yesterday's performance, that is going to be a catalyst when it comes to how they fare on the playing field.
Both of those teams won their matchup yesterday. Both of those teams walked through the split 1 and 2 upper bracket without losing a single match in the open finals. But with FUT qualifying through split 1, Humble qualifying through split 2, they actually never faced each other in the whole of Snapdragon Pro Series Season 3.
That's intriguing to think about, really, and it's obviously going to be a question for the audience as to who's going to come out on top. Both of them 2 and 3, both of them coming in today, having a lot of momentum, a lot of wind in their sails because of those 3-0s that they managed to get yesterday, convincing games. So I guess we'd better give the audience a bit of idea into what we're thinking for this matchup. You know, I'll give you the predictions down the line. Ark, we'll start with you. What are you thinking for this? I'm
thinking a 3-1 in favor of FUT. It could well go to a 5th set, as far as I'm concerned here. But I would like to see, again, that resolve from Humble. I want to see some resilience, some resistance early on, and really put FUT, you know, in their place and establish themselves. Because FUT were looking so dangerous yesterday. I don't want this one to be a sweep.
Oh, careful. This one is going to be easy to remember. Both of them are 2-3 in the leaderboard. I'm going to say 3-2 for FUT.
Sven, tell us what you're thinking.
I mean, I'm thinking of FUT win as well. I don't want to side with all the other casters. You know, sometimes you want a bit of both. But for me, I've got faith in Dragey, and I think he'll pull out the win 3-2 as well.
I'll tell you what, before the show, I did predictions of the predictions, and I almost got it bang on. I think Spence just changed up his mind a little bit just to make sure that I wasn't right. But to be honest, I do kind of think, I'm kind of siding with Ark here. I think 3-1 to Foot maybe, which is surprising. You know, I was expecting at least one of us to kind of side with Humble because of how well they've been playing and how convincing they looked yesterday, I will say, with Lukey as well. Coming back, we kind of questioned if they were going to be playing with the same kind of skill after he'd been away for that week. They'd probably been scrimming with Filippo, they've been playing with Filippo, and we know how much synergy can really alter a roster. And they showed us yesterday that they've still got that.
And Foot have been inconsistent. You know, for the most part, they have been inconsistent, and sometimes their drafts kind of dwindle away, and they're not quite really landing the mark. But we did see a shift when they started to pick up those wins. I noticed personally the drafting was much, much better, much more sure of itself. And of course, Lenan was away as well at times, which obviously doesn't help things. And you know, for me, I think, like we mentioned before, you know, momentum. They've had that in their sails coming into this matchup. But nonetheless, you know, Humble can throw a spanner in the works. That's what I'm wanting to see from them here today. And, you know, if Foot get off to a bad rocky start, we have seen times in the past where they've struggled to kind of, you know, recollect the deficit and bring things back around. Sometimes they can find themselves in a bit of a rut.
They do. I have to go with you there, Trev. I just think maybe Humble didn't have the time to train together so much because Lukey was on holidays. Let's see. I think both of those teams can make it to Cologne, to Gamescom. Obviously now with the leaderboard looking like it doesn't only depend on their performance today. But yeah, both of those teams deserve it in the end. I just feel like for esports this week looks a bit better.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like, even if like, one of these teams to win today, there's no guarantees of a future in the Snapdragon Pro Series anyway. You know, they're going to come back on game day number 7, and that's where their fate's going to be decided. Because even if you win today, you've still got to go through to that last day and get the win, unless there's some absolutely wild tiebreaker happening like there was in Season 2. So let's not count it out there. We stayed for another 3 games on game day number 7 in Season 2. So that could possibly happen again. But it seems like we've all kind of got faith in Foot Esports to be able to shut this one off. So we will see if this one's going to play out, but we seem to have a problem with the GFX on the draft, so we're going to be starting the game, guys. I'll wait for you to get around and get looking at your screens, but take it away as we're already going.
We're going to talk about the draft when we're in the game already. It starts off with Humble taking a blue star here, of course. They do have the Eve, which I love to see there. Tom's and Anita, something we don't see that often, Spen.
Yeah, these one can outgrind there, kind of like it sometimes. I mean, it's got a good matchup against Drage. Just see a back and forth chipping right here. Lukey should be able to get the pinch with Tomsy. Bruce Bear comes out, the stun goes in. Drage somehow manages to get the kill. Can he survive though? He's got Bruce chasing him down, but he's still surviving. He might be able to pop another chill pill in time. He does, he still gets the kill in time as well. And he gets out, but I think he's got to die to the poison, unfortunately. But that was such a great play.
These babies give him the rest, but Drage almost unkillable there. Takes both Lukey and Tomsy and gives the lead back to Humble right away, dying in the end after all. But that was a great performance from him so far, and this Ash, which I absolutely do love as well. I like the Foot combo time bit better. They have this come around characteristic at the end of the game if they just get a good Lena super there. Bear comes in again, stun comes out, Drage again dodging it, very well played by him. And Semantic all of a sudden, a tick against Anita and Eve in the bushes. Lena tries to help, falls there to Lukey, 7-4. Humble is gonna take over the lead here, 30 seconds before we end this first round.
30 seconds left, and the range isn't really looking good for Foot. They've got hardly any range. We see a ticket coming down, though. Semantics looking to push it forward. We see Eve pushing all the way back already now with about 18 seconds left. Already pushed back to spawn. This isn't looking the best for Humble. Pushing back this early, it's not really the best scenario to be in. But we see Lenane pushing forward right here. Can he get his Tara Super in time? He gets pinched down a little bit. The Tara Super now is in effect, but no one is low on the side of Humble. We see Lenane pulling in here. Can they get a kill in time? They can't. And Humble starting off strong, Sonny.
Foot was a bit too indecisive there at the end, I feel like. Lena pulling on the left-hand side and still shooting the right-hand side. It was a bit chaotic there in the end, but throughout the game, Foot Esports didn't look bad at all. That play there by Drage, lovely to see that once again, staying alive there. But yeah, in the end, Humble takes this first round, can maybe make it already to a 1-0 up in sets.
Yeah, I'd like to see the start of the game a little bit better because Lene, of course, you've seen towards the end of the game, did get his Tara super, but a bit too late. You want a brawler like Tara, of course, to get super as quickly as possible. Drage getting pinched down here already. Does really well to survive every single time. Lene getting pinched down by Tomsy, and Tomsy's going ham on Semantic right here. Can he confirm the kill? Again, 6 HP, a ticket going down. That might be the trade, but no, Bruce, he's going to tank it. Big, beefy Bruce. He's going to be able to survive that one. And now Humble in the same scenario as last time. They've got control of the grass, and it's looking great for them.
Tomsy playing that so well there, just in time. Last Ray coming out of Semantic, still not surviving this one. Drage and himself now pushing up on the left-hand side. Lena alone on the right-hand side. And Humble with all of mid control here for esports. Has some troubles even getting some control and getting into mid to maybe eventually make a kill here. Still 0 stars on their side. Drage now pushing up, maybe opening up a window for his team here. Luki on the right-hand side trying to pinch out Lena. A nice one-shot. Drage is falling. Lena as well. 9-0.
It's disastrous for Foot. They need to turn things around quickly. They just don't have the range to push back into the bushes, and they're just feeding the enemy team super and super time and time again. Bruce Bears, Penny Turrets, everything is just out at the moment. Drage is trying to make something happen here. He's going to probably go down to the Bruce. He somehow survives it. Lenard going down as well. Cyclone going down. Drage going down in the meanwhile as well. But look at that star difference. 12-star lead. And with no Taurus super available, with 25 seconds left, it's looking pretty much impossible.
Lena's not going to be too far away from super now. Going left-hand side onto Tomsy. Tomsy playing it well together with Luki. They will have it easy to pinch out Lena, even if he decides to push up Drage. Looks like he already has given up here. 4 to 18 stars. They need that complete team wipe. Not going to happen here. Humble takes it with 20 stars, taking this very first set already. Luki with the star player. I have to say, Tomsy was popping up off the Nita, but of course, Luki on that Eve looked good as well.
Yeah, I mean, we all said Foot would win, but we all said it would be in close fashion, and then we conceded straight away. I mean, it looked dominant for Humble. If anything, we should have probably predicted Humble by this start. But I've got to say, with Foot, personally, I feel like one thing that can go against them, and Ark touched on it brilliantly, is the fact that the momentum really rides well with Foot. If they get the first set, then things look really well for them. But we've seen that, even though it might have been impossible for them to come back, we've seen Drage and Semantic kind of give up a little bit early. So, not Drage and Semantic, Lane, sorry. But we can see by the stats, it just wasn't even close.
29 stars onto Humble. I think not close is the right word to use there, Spen. Well, Humble is able to take the momentum they had from yesterday's match against Mr. Dozer now into this one against Foot Esports, looking very strong. I, again, did like Foot Esports comp a bit better, but to play-wise, that Humble showed us here, very control, very communicative, I feel like. It wasn't chaotic at all. They pinched when it mattered, and won when it mattered here in the end, 1-0 up already. But I do feel like Foot Esports might need this set to wake up and gonna do better this time around.
Yeah, hopefully they wake up a little bit. I think personally, I think the draft they went for is to try and just get that mid-bush straight away. And you can see the lack of range they had. As soon as they lost it once, it was just a domino effect. They had no chance because there's so many supers going out. We had the Nita who had a good matchup against Tara and the Ashe. So a little bit unfortunate for Foot, but I've got full faith that they'll be able to turn things around in set number 2, field goal, where we've seen, I think, both of these teams pick up a win on this map previously. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the mind games that go on this match for sure. What do you make of the next map, Sonny?
Well, I just hope to see some Cordelias finally. Maybe a Shelly, of course, gonna be the best brawler still, especially on Brawl Ball. Those goal opportunities gonna come in handy. And of course, I was about to say, when Humble is playing on any Brawl Ball map, Stu is gonna be probably picked up first. Their most picked brawler so far on any Brawl Ball map because of Luki, simply. Shelly's gonna be banned out, Grey and Squeak on the side of Humble. On the side of Foot, we have the Dynamite banned out. I hate to see that. Nietzsche and Crow. Well, what do you make of the pick so far?
I mean, I'm just very surprised to see Barley not get banned out. I mean, maybe Humble have kind of a game plan around that. Maybe they have a good last pick to face off against that Barley, but very interesting. Barley, of course, really strong. Maybe they just have faith in picking Willow. Like, Willow's maybe just a little bit worse than Barley, but we see the Poco being picked up here, which is pretty interesting. So my guess is that Poco's just really good against Stu. So they're trying to counter Luki's Stu. Everyone knows how strong it is. So yeah, they're giving that kind of respect there and going for something of a counter pick. So pretty interesting overall in terms of the draft. Trying to think of anyone else that can kind of go down. We've seen last time, I think, Lenane loving Sam on this map. We see a lot of Primo. I think me personally, I would like to see probably the Primo pick, if I'm being honest.
I have to agree with you on that one. I don't feel like they have to go with Willow on the side of Humble. With Carl and Stu, they're already going to be good enough against the Barley. The Sam now coming out of Foot Esports, not a surprise here. Lana loves to play this brawler. At the same time, it just didn't work out that well in the previous weeks. Maybe today's going to be the day to redeem Sam's honor here. And Humble now needs something against a tank. Willow, again, you mentioned it, could be an option here, but they don't have to go Willow. Barley is going to be taken care of thanks to the other two brawler. They're going to go with a tank indeed. It's not going to be Primo, quite surprising to me here. I would have liked it a bit better, especially against the Barley. But Ash, I love to see that one.
Yeah, Ash is just as good. I would have actually preferred Primo or Buzz over Ash, just because, especially Buzz, he can just grapple straight onto Barley, for example, and get a lot of pressure. Whilst Ash, maybe it's more of a comfort pick, I think, personally, because we see Primo and Ash used a lot more. So it'd be interesting to see the matchups. I'm guessing they're going to put a Carl on the Barley and then probably the Ash on the Sam instead. So I think it should work out near enough as good anyway. But yeah, like you said, I don't know about the Sam pick. They pick it not as a last pick, and it just leaves it to get counted out, in my opinion.
I mean, they do have the poker. It's going to be a bit easier for Lena to push up with Sam. Going to take over the left-hand side immediately against Tomzy on the Ash. They're not going to be an easy matchup. He decides to go to mid. Maybe he can take out Luki instead. Going to try and take out Tomzy. He does manage to do so. Great push-up already incoming here from Foot Esports. Semantics falling, Lena rushing through though, gets taken care of by Cyclone. And now Humble are the ones to push up here.
Humble pushing up. Luki's got super to hand already. He's looking to try and make a breakthrough play, I imagine here. Waiting for one of them to kind of go out of position here. He's kind of sneaking around the middle. He's waiting, but all of the good people on foot, they recognize it's coming pretty soon. So we see the lane swap right here. They want to make sure they get the right matchups. And again, they're going to swap. Drage flushes them out though, and now the pressure coming on the side of Foot Esports. The Poco Sam synergy is going to be really important. They need to make use of them tuning forks, gadgets. See Lane pushing in here. He has so much HP to hand, and the Poco super, but messes up in the end. Just Tomzy alive. His super's away, but that's just not going to be enough. Foot Esports are going to take the lead here.
Luckily, Semantic and Rage are there to still take this goal. I didn't really see what happened there. Why Lena weren't able to just walk it in there, but regardless, Foot Esports 1-0 up now, pushing up here. Cyclone has to fall back. Luke is falling. Lena pushing up here, gets another takedown here. Two are fallen. Tomzy, the last man standing, not gonna have enough DPS to take care of Lena. And this is gonna be a very, very quick 2-0.
Yeah, that was a very quick 2-0. And again, I keep zoning in on the fact that they had last pick. They could have picked a more harder counter. They literally had Buzz and Primo, who would have also countered some of the other brawlers a little bit harder. So I just feel like they were utilizing the Sam really well. The Poco Sam synergy was just insane, but maybe Humble play this a little bit slow and wait for Poco to kind of run out of gadgets, run out of heals, and then maybe the late game is where they come into play here. So we see a little bit of a slower matchup this time around. Again, trying to get the Ash on the Sam. We see Drage already pushing back Tomzy into Spawno. Lenane, as beautifully as he does, consistently healing up, and he wants to get straight onto that Stu as soon as possible. Semantic pushing the ball up to Drage, where the Unbreakable is already going to help him out. Luki tries to kill Semantic, but instead he's just going to feed him super. Lane gets Tomzy down as well. Drage getting a team wipe, and that's going to be the first score, surely, for Foot Esports here.
What a play there. Drage and Lena both with super now as well. It doesn't really look good for Humble. I have to agree with you on that one. Ash is not going to have the time to shine against a Poco and a Barley, getting rid of his super quite easily. Lena doing such a good job at just healing up time and time. Semantic now finally gets taken care of by Humble. That's the possibility for them to push up the map here. Tomzy, low though, Cyclone gets the ball. Team wipe is there. Semantic respawning in time there, not a goal yet, but they still have any opportunity here as Luki gets the ball from Tomzy. Great passing coming, 1 minute 20, and we have a 1-1 standing.
We have a tie game now. Some beautiful aggro play from Cyclone. That's exactly what he needed to do a little bit earlier. Goes for the flying hook here. Has to run away though, and Lenane is trying to seize the opportunity here. Unfortunately, about to go down, but Tomzy now trying to wiggle around, keep his HP topped up. And now we see Luki with the ball pushing it into Semantic. Lenane gets the kill onto Tomzy. Luki has to dash out. Cyclone has his super to hand, and without his knuckle busters, Lenane's just going to slowly go down as well. But all things considered, it's still looking pretty decent for Foot.
Definitely so. 1-1, but FUT Esports has a lot more ball control right now. Semantic is low though, he has to fall back here. Rage is gonna get pinched very soon by Tomzy, and Luki there tries to save himself with a super of Tomzy incoming though as well. And now the last man standing here is quite low. Tries to heal up with the Knuckle Busters, does do so, but falls in the end as well. His two teammates respawning. 25 seconds left, the walls are gonna break any second now. And Humble with the possibility to take back a game of Brawl Ball.
FUT need to get out of their spawn as soon as possible. The ball is in such a dangerous position, and with Luki with his super, he can easily get his super back and make some good plays. Lenane pushing out all the way into their spawn now. Luki with a great kill onto Semantic. He's about to get a double kill onto Drage as well. Just Lenane left on defense, and that's going to be all members down for FUT Esports, and Humble can just slot that into the empty goal. A fantastic turnaround in the end, and maybe I'm eating my own words here, the caster's curse.
Finally, you started jinxing as well. We have a tight game here, 1-1 in Brawl Ball. Humble already take the first set. FUT Esports looked like they can revenge immediately, take this second one, but Humble says no to that. Great passing coming there from Luki. Some great plays from both teams, I have to say. Maybe Lena throwing out his Knuckle Busters sometimes a bit too far. That cost them this round. Lena falling there. Again, without Knuckle Busters. Cyclone is low though. Maybe Semantic can follow up with a kill here. Tomzy is falling instead. Semantic is low as well. Rage the last man standing here. But luckily, Lena comes back in time, can clean up here.
Yeah, can clean up, but Luki on that stew. He's just able to get 2 dashes with 1 piece of ammo. It's just beautiful to see. We see Cyclone time and time again now focusing his attention onto the Sam with the protective pirouette. He's just able to get a quick and easy kill, of course, unless Lenane can cancel that out with his gadget. But again, Cyclone just playing so amazing so far. Tomzy full HP, should be able to get the wraparound, but actually he's going to fall back here with a flush out from Drage. Lenart with his Knuckle Bust is actually going to confirm the kill onto Cyclone now, and with the perfect Poco heal, this should be a goal opportunity for FUT Esports. Can they get the goal in time? Pass over to Semantic, and there's just no way they can kind of push him back to stop that goal.
Great push there by FUT Esports, all members, fantastic job. Humble falling, 1 minute 20 down the clock. Humble, can this still turn around? We did see them do it before. So again, coming in from Lena, gets rid of Cyclone. 2v3 situation here. Again, FUT Esports going to be pushed up here. Drage walking up, Lena on the right-hand side, trying to get rid of Tomzy. Luki with the save there. But FUT Esports still in the dangerous position here. Lena just walking it in maybe. With some heals from Semantic, it's not going to be enough there. He's still falling. Semantic tries to do it with a trick shot, but of course, Luki's there to save it once again.
Semantic trying to trick shot, maybe not working out this time around, but to be fair, he couldn't really do much else. But to be honest, I thought they were about to wrap things up there, especially with the Poker and Sam in that position. That was a fantastic defense from Humble, but now Stu kind of lacks DPS over. He's just trickling them down. Lenart is going in with his Knuckle Dusters. It's going to be a perfectly timed heal from Semantic, but he has to retreat, going low. Semantic somehow gets the kill onto Cyclone. He's going to slowly go down as well, but you can see here the control from Humble. It's dangerous for FUT Esports, especially if it gets over to overtime, because I definitely favor Humble in overtime.
Well, overtime first needs to happen. Humble needs to score in 20 seconds. Tomzy, sadly, misuses his super there. 13 seconds now. Pass coming into Tomzy. Doesn't get the ball. Cyclone pushing up there. They're trying to get a sweep, but with Luki one shot there at the top, will they be able to pass it? All 3 members on 200 HP, and still they're able to score, prolonging to overtime.
Yeah, so now overtime drops. I was already thinking that it was about to go to overtime. Some fantastic plays towards the end here, but now FUT Esports with control so far. Unfortunately, Poco has no gadgets and no heals just yet, but now he's built up his heal. He can actually synergize really well with Lenane here. Lenane trying to get his Knuckle Dusters, doesn't even need him. He just slots it in anyways. That was just crazy in the end. I thought it was just too anticlimactic in a way. I thought Lenane was just going to go down, but he was given the space. You can't give Lenane the space, especially on Brawl Ball. Ah, that was fantastic, Sonny.
And Luki did it around 3 to 5 times already, dashing in front of the goal and saving it just before Lena is able to score here. In the end, Lena with a beautiful shot there, not even Luki able to dash in front of the ball. FUT Esports taking this second set means we're also tied now overall.
We're tied game now. This is set out to be a very long game, Sonny. I hope you're prepared. Strap in, because it's surely going the distance with how close these teams are so far. I'm excited, but next set, you know, we've had a great set in Brawl Ball. We have Ring of Fire on set number 3, and you can, well, actually, no, we can see the stats right here. In terms of healing, of course, with Poco and the Sam, they're going to get a lot more healing. But yeah, the damage clearly going the side of Humble, but it doesn't really matter about most of those stats. It matters about the goals and Lenar clutching up in the end.
Playing for the objective. Foot Esports did it a tiny bit better, taking this one, equalizing the score overall. And Spen, of course I'm strapped in. You know how much I enjoy casting with you, so I'm happy if this is going to be a close one, especially since it's so important for Foot Esports and Humble to win today. They're both 2-3 in the series, so they better take this match day very seriously.
Yeah, like you said, very seriously we need to take it, because the thing as well about these two teams, of course, whoever loses is in a bad position, but they've also got a really tough matchup afterwards. I believe, I think one of them has SK, I think Humble has SK, and Foot has Navi. So that's two really tough teams. So they double can't. Literally so much at stake at the moment. Both teams have to win today's game. I don't know if we're stressed it enough, guys. They have to win. But going into Ring of Fire, I'm excited. The only thing is does Drake still have PTSD when I used to play with him? I hope not, because Ring of Fire used to be our worst map.
To be fair, Luki is giving me PTSD whenever he has Stu in his hands, and still Foot Esports is the winner of the Brawl Ball set, banning out Stu regardless, so some PTSD is there, together with the Crow and the Poker on the side of Foot Esports. Squeak, Gray and Shelly going to be banned out by Humble, going to go with B as first pick here. Ring of Fire is one of those maps where you can play some long-range options here. I do like the B. They need something with a bit of bam. I want to see some aggression incoming from both of those teams now. For now, they're going to go with the Penny, which I don't hate. She's very good on this map. You can always place her mortar in that little L corner there. Ember on the side of Foot Esports, however. When the gear first came out, she was one of the best brawlers on this map. Now it got nerfed a tiny bit. Do you still feel like Ember's so good that you have to pick her first?
I'm not too sure. Surely they've got some type of game plan. Like, Amber's good, maybe not first pick good, but this surely has to be something that they've practiced. And one thing I'm looking out for, I guess Tara's actually got a tough matchup against Penny, but my guess was that they wanted to go Tara, and Amber's Tara's biggest counter, but they do go with the bells, so pretty decent pick. It's good into the B, it's good into the Penny as well. You've got the traps in the middle, so they're looking for a lot of area denial in the middle. Of course, they've got the traps, Amber Fire. There's just so much that's stopping Humble from going in. I feel like Humble will have to maybe respond with something like that at the end. I think Lou is still open, so they could do something like that, but we're still zoning in here on the 5th pick overall. And to be honest, they haven't got the most DPS for esports, but they go with a Sam again, 5th pick. Sensing deja vu here.
I do as well. They really love this brawler and value it quite high. Sometimes it works out, but I think more often than not it didn't, so I'm kind of scared for Foot Esports here. But coming out of this Brawl Ball match where it just did work out, maybe they think, well, we're going to rock with the same comp, it's going to be good. I do like the Bell against the B, it's kind of a 50-50. Ember's going to do a great job against the Penny turrets as well. But you have a lot of options still open for Humble. They can go with something aggressive or go with a Lou. And whoever ever played Power League or Leather on this map, playing against the Lou, most annoying thing ever.
Yeah, and it gives me deja vu even more, the fact that literally against Mr. Dozer, they picked Sam 5th, and then Mr. Dozer got Lou 6th, counted him so easily. I thought they maybe learned from it. Maybe they got a different game plan here. Surely they've got a different game plan, but I was just going to go the same way it did before. For me, I really have to favor with a Humble composition, just because Sam's going to feed so many supers overall. I don't know, sorry.
I was about to say maybe Evelyn now plays on the left-hand side, trying to not feed the Lou, trying to get behind the roster of Humble. It can work for now. Lena is playing very defensively. He does not want to feed Luki his very first Super Cyclone. And himself against Rach and Semantic in mid so far. Lena finally going in there, sees a window, puts some pressure onto Tomsy and Cyclone even falling there. Lena finally gets taken out, but still Foot Esports with a 20% lead already.
Yeah, I like it. I like definitely switching up the way they're playing. The fact that Lalane's just kind of sitting back. Before he was just running constantly. Now he's going to pick his moments, and he can start just going straight into the spawn, straight away getting onto Cyclone as well. But that is a Lou Ice Rink put down. Unfortunately, that's going to be Foot running it back for them. But fortunate for Humble, because now they can get some control on their side of things. Lanane respawning, and again, it doesn't really matter how many times you die as a Sam. You just got to keep W keying up the map time and time again. It's going to get a great takedown onto Tomsy, and now Humble are looking scared because Lalane is just going to go in crazy here. They have to pinch him out. They have to address this Sam. But whilst they're addressing the Sam, Drake is just in the middle, picking up that time. So looking okay, but that Ice Rink probably not in the best spot.
But every single time Luki is gonna have one of those loose supers, Humble will be the ones to push up here, collecting some percentages. I have to say though, I think no one else could make Luke Sam this good into this matchup as EUR&MENA is doing it right now against both B and Lou. Doesn't have the best matchup, takes down Tomzy time and time again, but slowly but steadily, Humble creeps up and trying to get a lead here. They do have it now, it's not a big one, but as long as Cyclone is still standing there in mid, it's going to be a tough one here for FUT Esports to come back here. Symantec pushing up together with EUR&MENA. They do get rid of Luki there. Ice rink down, but still enough space for FUT Esports to stand in the zone.
That was absolutely beautiful from FUT Esports there. The thing that I loved is that Drage got some important taps, of course he does, on the bell, and then straight away, EUR&MENA known to go straight in there. They knew they were weak, and they could capture some percentage, but still, all things considered, there's only a 10% lead in this. It's back and forth. It might even go down to the distance here with 50 seconds left on the clock. Cyclone with a really good slow onto Symantec. Can he confirm the kill in time? He does get the takedown. That could be very important, but these bell shots are going to ricochet onto the Honey Molasses. Somehow avoid Cyclone again. Shots are bouncing everywhere, but Humble have creeped into the lead here. This could go the distance.
It could not be any closer between those two teams. Back and forth, the lead switches sides. EUR&MENA pushed up again, very close towards Humble's zone there. FUT Esports taking over the lead once again. It must be around the 5th or 6th time already. Looking up, pushed up here. 2v3 situation. This could be the last push here coming from Humble, taking over the lead once more.
Taking over the lead and 15 seconds left. They need to go now. EUR&MENA needs to get a kill, and it's a 3v1 situation. He's going to take him down. It's so close. Can Drake get in there in time? Surely not. And Humble close things down, nearly going down to the last few seconds, which we don't see too often in hot zones. So just showing how good these two teams are in the end. But when it mattered most, Humble, they were more calm and calculated. They were able to group up in time and secure the last few percentages. So I was on the edge of my seat. It just kept going back and forth, back and forth. But Humble moving one bit closer to securing himself a second set.
I have to say though, whereas I was describing FUT Esports playstyle a bit chaotic in Canal Grande, they came back a long way, not only through field goal, but also now in Ring of Fire. They're so calm and collected, pushing up together. Whenever Rage is tapping, Symantec's pushing up, followed by EUR&MENA, getting those kills in, very well played by FUT Esports. But then again, Humble on that Lou just might have the key to success on this map. Let's see, FUT Esports again with the lead. The start is always going to be better for FUT here.
It's always going to be better, as you just said. And Drage is just tapping beautifully again. Drage on the B matchup is just really great to see. He's getting the taps onto Luki, and EUR&MENA picking his opportunity again. It's deja vu. He's waiting for the penny to slip up, and he just gets the kill every single time. So although in the middle it's like a 2v3 kind of situation here, they're still scared of EUR&MENA just popping out of the bush. So it's not all three of them bunched in the middle. Maybe Humble need to switch something up here, because it's a 35% lead. It's starting to slowly dwindle down. Cyclone goes really aggressive, but him going aggressive just makes Lenane sniping with the knuckle busters. Tomzy's going in, trying to make something happen, but EUR&MENA again, that's a full team wipe, and control going the way of FUT Esports.
What a play there, what a pinch from Drake and EUR&MENA as well there. All of the members of Humble falling, standing back into spawn, and that's where EUR&MENA comes in here. Luki on 19 HP, still surviving it though. Good bite for FUT Esports in the long run here. Drake is quiet though, needs to fall back here, but EUR&MENA quickly takes care of Tomzy on the left-hand side. Once again, Symantec gets rid of Cyclone. Luki, the last man standing. He is in the zone, however. FUT Esports isn't.
And there's over the loose super as well. That's going to push Drake all the way back. Symantec's trying to get rid of that Penny turret, but if anything, Penny's just going to be able to build up that turret straight away back. Cyclone with the slow. He's going to be able to get some taps onto EUR&MENA, but he's just going to heal up with his hard to recovery style power. It doesn't even phase him. Drake and Luki in the middle battling things out. Luki's going to go really low with the knuckle dusters from EUR&MENA. Cyclone's going to be able to kill him in the end. Symantec's pushing up with some great pressure, whilst Drake is just sitting in the zone, getting so much time. Cyclone, he's missing a shot that could be vital in the end. And EUR&MENA, he's looking for this switch here. He's smelling blood.
I have to say this 1v1 of Drake and Cyclone in the middle is already entertaining enough for me, but everything that happens around is just crazy. EUR&MENA, again, falling here, but gets rid of Tomzy time and time again. This time it's the first round. Humble, first time Humble is going to be able to push up here, get some percentages in as well, and they are looking into taking over the lead in the last few seconds. Again, Symantec coming all the way over, trying to go back, and behind Humble, Drake standing in the mid. This has to be FUT Esports game. 15 seconds left on the clock. Tomzy, Drake, Luki still standing.
10% is all that's in it. Lana, he's pushing forward with his knuckle dusters. He's going to be able to confirm more time here. Semantic goes down. Is there enough time for them to come back from this? A few percent left and just 1% in it. Oh my word. It couldn't get any closer than that, but I just wanted to zone in. The reason why Foot was even able to secure that one was Semantic down the left-hand side with about 30 seconds left. He was able to push into the bush, get a few kills, get a lot of pressure. I feel like without it, Humble could have easily claimed that set.
That's a trick on this map, I feel like. In Ring of Fire, if you go on the left-hand side and manage to go behind the other team, you can pinch so well with your own teammates. I also have to say, though, I said Lou must be the most annoying brawler on this map. That makes Sam take close second here, I feel like. Whenever he gets shot up, he just heals up right away again. Third time's the charm. Foot Esports taking over the lead at the start.
That's the same thing again. It's always Foot Esports getting that early lead. Maybe that's something Humble can address. Maybe that's just how the competition goes. But Tomzy already getting super here. Luki's actually kind of adopting his situation here. Adapting his situation. He's able to push it forward. Now getting the kill onto Cyclone. And that's going to be takedown from Luki. Tomzy somehow manages to get the kill and he places a turret in front of him. He's going to slowly go down to that bell shot, but he will still get a lot of percentage in. We just see Cyclone straight away run it into the middle, trying to get some zone time. Lana with a beautiful kill. Semantic is able to get a great connection onto Tomzy with the super, but still, Luki's able to get even more control. Another super thrown out onto Drage. All things considered, Humble are still in this.
Lucas cycling super is also surviving on 45 HPs. Finally, Humble takes over the lead after a great start from Foot Esports. It's now Cyclone standing in the mid. Semantic with the super looking into getting some control back. Just leaves his super there. Slowing down the opponent's 10% is not as much as it was before the nerf, but still enough for Foot Esports to take over the lead once again. Now 50-50 and they're all out of the zone.
50-50s even as it gets. Every single game of this set is going down to the wire. A really great slow from Cyclone there. He's able to confirm the kill onto Drage, and now we can get the pinch onto with Lana. He somehow survives in the end. Semantic with a really important kill. Now he can focus onto Luki instead. My attention is everywhere at the moment, going back and forth, and now Foot are able to establish a little bit of control and a little bit of extra zone time. Now they have to really address with Lana in the bushes here. He's able to take down Cyclone, and it's looking like Foot Esports are running away with it here.
80% for Foot Esports already. That's the magic mark, I have to say here. With 50 seconds only left on the clock, 9% for the taking of Foot Esports. Humble needs to push in now. Cyclone falling. Luki as well. Semantic, Drage and Linnell standing in the zone. This has to be Foot Esports game and set. They're moving forward. 2-1 up now for Foot Esports.
Throughout all that chaos, the ending was a bit anticlimactic, I'd have to say. I felt like it was going to literally go down to 90%, 95% again, but fair play to Foot Esports there. They're able to get some really important kills. And again, Lana on the Sam. I really like his setup this time around, as we probably mentioned maybe a bit too harshly myself at the beginning, saying that maybe Sam is not really the best. It's not the best matchup against Lou, but he proves me wrong. He's able to adapt. He's able to make so many game-changing plays. It is just beautiful. I couldn't be a bigger Lana fan.
I see. Somebody convinced Spen to my side here. I have to say, I didn't see that one incoming. The third one wasn't as close as the first and the second game here. Humble starting off so strong, taking the first game. Now Foot Esports taking the set overall. In terms of the stats, it's just as close. A bit more kills on the side of Foot Esports. But overall, it was a very close set. And I'm still hoping for a very close matchup overall for both those teams. It counts today.
Yeah, both teams, it definitely counts. And I think that was one of the craziest games of Hearthstone I've actually ever watched.
Loved casting
because there was just so much action back and forth, everyone just going down. We had Lane on one side of the things trying to get some work done. We had Lou Supers galore. We had Drage tap in. We had everything inside of that game. So if this whole series is like that game, I'm all for it, to be honest. But it's probably going to be a little bit slower paced here because we're moving on to Knockout Flare and Phoenix. But all things considered, it will get very dicey towards when the gas closes in.
Definitely. I hope for another close matchup here. Maybe we see third time Sam incoming from Foot Esports. Eager to see if that's really what's happening now, or if they finally reside to another brawler. We're gonna find out. Sam's not banned out, Stu isn't either. Maybe we're gonna see those two brawlers, Sprout, Bonnie and Sprout, gonna be banned out from the side of Foot Esports. Shelly once again banned out by Humble alongside of Grey and Tick. Of course, Foot Esports has the first pick here. Usually, Tick is what you want to go with, but if that's not available, Jean's one of the best brawlers simply because of the vision gear.
Yeah, vision gear is just so strong, especially on any part of grassy map. And that's why they go with it. And they go with the RT straight away. So RT is just fantastic on this map. Of course, he's really good against snipers, but he's also got that super as well, whether any aggression wants to come towards him, it's going to take them down pretty quickly. But go with a squeak as well. So you can see here, they're kind of going with a brawler that can deal with aggression, and then a brawler that can kind of deal with the aggression counters, if you get what I mean. So a bit of rock, paper, scissors here with the squeak. But to be honest, we're not seeing squeak too much recently. Like the other day, we didn't really see too much squeak. It was banned out quite a lot. So I'm excited to see how it fares out in Knockout, because I would say Knockout is probably one of his weaker game modes.
I have to say that I heard people say if you have Squeak in your team, you're going to win every single of your Power League matches. Maybe that also accounts for your competitive matches. Humble's going to show us later on if that's really the case. Grom is going to come in for Foot Esports now with 2 brawlers banned, 2 throwers banned here. Grom, of course, is going to be a strong pick here. Squeak still, though, I do quite like it. Also with the control it offers, even towards a Grom, you can handle even throwers quite well with this brawler. Foot Esports now can go with something aggressive here. Maybe they're going to show us again, maybe it's going to be a Fang. Never mind, Nani is going to come in here. Interesting to see that one. I did not see that one incoming at all.
Yeah, I didn't really see that one coming, and maybe they're going to switch the matchups here and put the Nani on the RT, but I didn't see that one either. I thought they still had to go with some sort of aggression, just mainly because, well, they go with a Daryl last pick. Literally because of that. It's because they could easily pick an aggro last pick. I'm a little bit worried for Foot here. They have to get the early engagements, because the longer the game goes on, the better Daryl is going to be in that scenario, the better RT is going to be in that scenario. So I feel like they need to make a fast impression on this map.
I absolutely agree with you. I disagree kind of with that Nani pick. Let's see if it's gonna pop off and show us the opposite of what we're expecting. I kind of side with the comp of Humble here. I still feel like Gene is gonna have a great start here. They're gonna have the better possibilities to scan out the bushes, but as soon as Humble gains in some momentum or just waits until overtime is gonna hit, until the smoke is coming in, Humble's gonna take this one.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, because we're getting straight into the game right here. So straight away, we're going Gene lane. I guess that was the match we were looking for. The Nani against the RT, and this is some really good aggression from Semantic, but straight away, Luke is just going to abandon his matchup. He knows that he's going to slowly get chipped down. He won't be able to regen, so it's quite smart for him just to go into the middle, you know, not fear that Gene's super. We see Lunar pushing really aggressively here on the Grom. He only really has to worry about the aggression from the Daryl, and we just see this super slowly building up. Now Daryl has his role available. The thing is, he can't really have many chances in this situation, because everyone from Foot are quite grouped up so far, but with all things considered, not much really happened.
With the vision, Foot Esports does have the better start here, pushing back Humble the way into spawn, but Humble also knows they can just wait until the smoke is coming in. They will have a much better matchup here. Luki now going in aggressively, kind of miscalculates his role there, not hitting Lena. Semantic and Lena both push back on the left-hand side. Cyclone falling, Draches as well though. Luki follows up right away. 1v2 situation now for Tomzy. Can Squeak prevail against 2 brawlers?
Can he prevail? 125 HP is all that remains, and he's not going to be able to close things off. A little bit hard for a Squeak to deal with 2 brawlers, just because of his shot delay. It takes a little bit of time for that damage to actually come through. It's going to be hard for him to clutch up in that scenario. So Luki unfortunately missing the Daryl roll, which of course was going to affect him, but now he's just going straight into Lene. I absolutely love this play right here. He's able to get his super back straight away. So maybe that was a bit of a overextension away from Lana, especially considering he's a Grom, he's so easy to pick on. And now with a 3v2 scenario, it's pretty hard for Foot to really do too much, because the DPS isn't really there with a Gene. So Humble are just going to wait this one out.
It's going to be a tough one here for Foot Esports to take this round. They don't have the Grom, they don't have the control that the Brawlers offers. Rage does have a pull, but who does he want to hit? He can't really go up against Cyclone. Luki is going to be not a good go either. Luki rolling in there, getting Drake. Semantic falling right away as well. And Humble equalizing the score in this first game of Knockout already. Well, they definitely want to prevent Foot Esports from gaining the match point. I can see why.
Yeah, I can see why. We see the Peep just straight away connecting onto Luki. It's not really going to touch any of them. All of them are pretty much near 6,000 HP, if not above it. You know, Nani Peep's not going to do nowhere near the amount of damage, but at least it's going to cycle Semantic a little bit of his super. Now Lunar with the Grom Bomb available, whether he's going to use that now. He's probably going to wait until the gas closes in, but still control going the way of Foot Esports at the moment, slowly chipping down Luki. Drake has to keep on top of that, keep him low, but he's actually going to run back and maybe not overextend. Quite smart there in the end. Tomsy's going to get a few shots taken. Semantic looking to go a little bit more aggressive. Cyclone, he's keeping the pressure down the right-hand side fantastically, considering he's against a thrower. You know, he's not really been pushed back too much now. Luki's swapping the matchup here. We'll see whether he's able to sneak up onto Lena right here. He's able to get great roll. Semantic with a great peep in behind there and able to push him back. Drage with the pull as well, but he doesn't actually get the kill. He somehow doesn't get the kill. And Lena, he's going to go down slowly here to Cyclone and Tomzy. Well, that was disastrous in the end.
Cyclone doesn't get a kill. He gets both Semantic and Rage on the left-hand side. That pull was great, but he didn't see the amount of damage that Cyclone had incoming. That was a bit of an unlucky pull. I don't think he could have done that any differently, though.
Yeah, it's just dangerous to pull a brawler like that has a super that can just delete you so quickly. It's a tough one. It definitely is unfortunate. I'll have to give him a little bit of stick because I'm used to it as a Gene. I'm pulling Shelly's left, right, and center. But they need to put that one behind them because they want to close things out as quickly as possible, but it doesn't even matter. Cyclone's just going to repeat again and get so many taps onto Drage and take him down. It's looking really dangerous for esports. They need to try and clutch this 2v3 scenario.
They still have a possibility for match point. They can't let this one get to them, but it looks like they did a tiny bit 2v3 situation here. Lena pushed back by Tomzy and Cyclone is going to go down now. 3v1 situation for Semantic. He does not want to feed supers on the other side. Cyclone, the only man still looking for one. Semantic hoping to get killed by the smoke, or Luki, of course. With that, Humble takes already the first round here. With only one more round, we're going to go all the way to the very last set.
While they go into the last set here, we see the peep incoming again. That's surely just going to be tanked by Luki. Tries to get the double connection, only manages to get Luki. But at least that's a little bit of pressure, right? At least if they get hit by it, they have to heal up and run back. But Humble just doesn't seem fazed by that whatsoever. They're happy to play the late game. They're happy to play whatever game they want. It seems like they're fully in control at the moment. Lanai gets a good shot onto Tomzy here. Great squeak super. It's going to connect onto all three of them here. And it's not looking great for at all. Unfortunately, the return to sender for Humble is going to be a saving grace for Foot. Another peep coming out. Luke is going to roll into that one, which is a really good roll, to be honest. I was kind of questioning it, but that could have actually killed Cyclone.
Tomzy is still with some residue left as well, preventing for the esports to push up there. Another residue come down. For the esports can't fall back now. They're pinched all the way in mid. Tomzy from the right-hand side, Luke from the left. Cyclone at the top. Hit well there. Tomzy and Semantic both falling, trading each other out. Luke is one shot, so is Drage. Lena, the last man standing, doesn't connect any of the supers. Luki, Cyclone, both one shot, so is Lena. And Humble take this set. It's going to be a best of 5 played out all the way to the end. Why didn't we see Foot take a match point here, Sven?
I'm just trying to think of the key moments. I feel like the composition just didn't really go their way. Like we mentioned at the beginning, Nani, it can be good in some scenarios, but the fact that the peep can't do anything against all 3 brawlers, it's kind of like a wasted super in a sense, right? Like you want a good super in knockout, and they can't really make any use of it. There was maybe one play that Semantic did to push out like Darrow, but that was probably it. Yeah, that was probably it. So I think for me, again, it has to come down to draft. I know that Humble played that really well. I was just a bit disappointed to see the Nani because it was a bit obvious in the sense like having last pick always favors aggro. They had really no answers to it, and that's just the way the game went.
I love asking you those questions, by the way, because whatever you say, you just take whatever I had to say as well. It's perfect. I agree with you. Just the Nani pick, we did question it at the start already, just didn't work out as much against all 3 brawlers that have too much HP to take them out immediately with a peep at the start. Semantic going in every single time at the start, but who does he connect it with? Luki can tank it with the Daryl. Even if he hits the RT or the squeak, it's not going to be enough to take them out. We did have one amazing play by him, pushing back Luki when he went in, but other than that, he couldn't really protect his 2 teammates.
Really protect him, and also it was quite interesting the fact that there was only like one throw in that. Normally you see like a Barley, maybe a Barley would have been better than a Grom. Maybe that's something they could have changed as well, but if you're for esports, you just got to put that behind you, right? Because you're just gonna end up on a tilt. That's one thing you can't really do when you're playing these types of competitions. You can't look at the past. You got to move forward because this is very important. We all kind of called a close game. I think we both called 3-2. I think Art called a 3-1. I mean, it could easily go the way of Humble as well. It's going to go down to the wire.
I have to say, in this very last set, it might as well be Humble taking it now after beating Foot Esports with the possibility of a match point. we did see them before getting it too much to them. I hope it didn't happen this time. I hope for esports can still prevail here. They did look great throughout the first 3 sets. Now with Safezone on the line here, the very last map spin, the draft already incoming.
Yeah, we see the Grom, Carl and Penny band out from FUT Esports, and the Squeak, Colette and Brock band from Humble. And we've seen straight away Bonnie first pick. Of course, Bonnie on pretty much every single heist map is one of the easiest brawlers to play in the sense that it's good against everything. So super versatile, good against everything. And we see the Eve and 8-Bit in response. So these are 2 brawlers that are just notoriously known in heist. You got Eve is able to go over the water. She's able to pretty much change her matchup whenever. And since the addition of Unbreakable Walls, it's just made Eve even better. Now we see the Bell response. That's one brawler I was just about to talk about because they need an answer to 8-Bit in the middle. Bell is probably the next best option considered like the likes of Colette, Penny and Brock are banned out. So good response to the draft there.
I definitely agree with you there. Bell is going to work out well against Eve and 8-Bit, both of them with a turret or, of course, the little hatchlings. We're going to have a last pick here incoming from FUT Esports any second now. They already have some damage with Bonnie. I could see something with it more damage incoming as well as maybe a Ruffs just to give that little boost to the 2 teammates. Let's see with what they're going to go with in the end. We have basically all tanks still open. Boss is going to be great here as well as the Daryl. Humble, actually, with the first last pick here, gonna pick that Daryl up for the esports now. I still think Ruffs could be okay, but they need some damage output against that Daryl. Maybe we're gonna see a boss. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm guessing they've probably gone something like a Carl, because Humble had last pick there.
Carl is banned.
Oh, he's banned. Okay, maybe it was the buzz or something like that. I felt like they went something aggro, because for a Daryl, you wouldn't have the best of matchups kind of against the sharpshooters here, in my opinion anyway. Just gets dwindled down too much. So it'd be interesting to see what FUT go, but this is the decisive set. They need to win this one, both teams, or else they could pretty much be facing the end of their journey here at Snapdragon Pro Series. So it all comes down to this.
We did see yesterday how good Cordelius is on a heist map with the defense. Let's see what the last pick actually was. It was indeed Cordelius. I saw that one coming. Yeah. I'm in their head. Then they're gonna push up right away with a little jump over the wall there on the left-hand side. Already unsafe, doing some damage. Not gonna get hit by either. Tom's recycling. The Dodgers coming in here. Already 15% taken off the save. Simante coming in with another 6%. And Rage now 1v2, but he's tapping.
He is tapping, indeed. And he gets the kill onto Cyclone. Fantastic plays right there. I'm just worried about Lenar, the fact that once his jumps run out, maybe it's going to be really hard for Cordelius to get into the game, but he needs to cycle that first super first, and maybe things are going to be a little bit better for him. Tomsy actually running the boosted star power. He's going to get picked on by Drage a lot easier because of that. Semantic's looking to try and take down those hatchlings. Does actually miss a shot, and now the quadruplets are going to roll in. It's going to be a little bit unfortunate for both Semantic and Drage to take them down. Semantic's going to get the kill anyway. Lukey rolling in here with so much pressure. And now we're seeing the Shadow Realm to full effect there. Again, able to get the takedown so easily, but still 8-Bit was able to get damage in the meanwhile, and things are all evened up.
I want to mention Navi at this point. They showed us how strong Cordelius really is on pit stop yesterday. Now FUT Esports takes him into safe zone, and it works out so well, taking Luki away from the objective there. He can't do any damage. 1% lead so far for FUT Esports. We have Lena again in the Shadow Realm. They trade each other out here. Rage again, 1v2 situation. Semantic and Lena going in to do some damage, but leaving him alone every single time.
Yeah, Drage with 3-4 taps in a row on Lukey there, managing to stop a little bit of a push in the meanwhile. Tomsy has his boosted booster available pretty soon. He might be able to rain some damage down with extra credits to hand. Drage is recognizing this threat here, needs to keep him low. Lukey, he's flashing his super, he's looking for the prime opportunity. Can't really go in on Leleno with that Shadow Realm. Tomsy has to go really well with so much great aggression from Drage, but in the meanwhile, Lukey's going to get the kill. Now with the response, and now the mid control is away of FUT Esports, and another Shadow Realm and another kill from Lana.
This is absolutely crazy. Again, I still feel like Tick is probably the most annoying brawler in the game, but Lana on this Cordelia is completely shutting down any incoming damage coming in from Humble. Now in the last second, they do, however, take over the lead here. 54%. It's not going to be enough time for FUT Esports to come back from this one. They try it, but the body block is there from Tomsy and Lukey, and Humble with the match point finally.
Wow, I mean, the way that Lana was pushing up with Cordelius' super, I thought they were going to take it, and then just out of nowhere, Tomsy sneaking down the right-hand side, all the attention was on Foot Esports, but Tomzy sneaking in with the extra credits and that boosted booster, it was just too much for them to deal with. So although for the most part Foot was in control, it just needed a couple of pushes, and that's where I always say time and time again in Heist, you need the damage, because all you need is one push with 8-bit and you can literally take back 2 minutes of control in like a 10-minute push.
That's probably the problem here with the esports comp. They do have Lena and Rage doing fantastically in defense. Humble only really had 2 good pushes, but whenever 8-bit and the Daryl are going to be on save, it's going to be so easy for them to trickle down those percentages. Semantic now trying to get his super, looking into gaining some damage for his team, even more so. 7% only taken from the save of Humble. Not a single scratch on the save of Foot Esports so far.
Now he's pushing in, he's able to get the kill in time. He's going to try and get some more damage. He's just going to fall back, actually, not even go into the pocket. He's going to be a lot more safer this time around. Luca with a great roll, but straight away, Lana saving Drage's life and getting the takedown in the meanwhile. Fantastic plays out of Cordelius right there. Semantics looking for the opportunity, gets the kill onto Tomzy, also jumps in and gets a lot of damage. Lana's just running rampant right here, 50% lead, but now Humble can look to break out.
Hatchlings coming in there. Drage probably going to go down on the right-hand side, giving Luki super as well. And now with super, though, looking into Luki, just waiting for him to roll in quite low there. Could be an opening for Luki here. Immediately gets taken into Shadow Realm. Lana chomping away. Still, Luki's going to get the better out of that. Still standing on save. Damage gear activated. That's going to be a big, huge chunk of that save taken off of Foot Esports here. And still, they do have the lead though, but it's slowly trickling down.
Slowly trickling down. Semantic with a great Bonnie jump onto the 8-bit. He's going to fall over. He has to fall back to survive. He's actually going to go in the pocket instead, but he's going to eventually get pinched out here from Tomzy and Luki, but he's buying his team time. That's a fantastic play. May not seem like he's doing a lot, but just dwindling down the time. Drage again. He's able to win that mid matchup time after time again. Dragey is popping off. It's beautiful to see. Lana with a really good super onto Luki. He's going to get him down. That could be a very important matchup. He gets the kill here. Now with 20 seconds on the clock. It's match point here for Humble. They need to do something.
They might as well take this set home. 13 seconds left on the clock. Luki is super, so does Tomzy have his super. Pushing up onto the save of Foot Esports now. It's 28 percentages they need to beat here. 4 seconds left on the clock. The damage is coming down. Lana trying to defend here, and he manages to do so. We're going to go not only all the way to the very last set, we're going to go all the way to the very last game of it. This is the game you promised us to respawn. It's going to be a very close one.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be close, but last game, last set. Wow, what an absolute way to start the show. Like, if you're just tuning in, trust me, the game's... it's going to be hard to compete with this one, but they're probably going to be just as good as this for sure. Drage already getting some good taps onto Tomzy. Well, just one tap to get a little bit of pressure. Some more taps onto Cyclone. A good double pinch from Semantic and Drage managing to get some great pressure. Lana with the gadget up already, getting the kill onto Luki. Now he's going to rain some damage onto the save with the damage gear active. And this is another beautiful spot start from Foot Esports, but can they hold on to it?
Shadow Realm immediately get taken out though. Tomzy gets the better out of this 1v1. And yes, it has been some very good games, Sven. Source, trust me, bro. Semantic, Drage and Lana all pushing up through the mid now. 1 minute 50 on the clock still, but they already have 30% taken off of Humble's save. Semantic pushing in here, trying to go for the kill. Does get Tomzy. Let's see if Cyclone finds Semantic though. Semantic hiding on the right-hand side, still surviving. Lana trying to get another super, has it now. Luki is low. Cyclone still not reaching the save so far. Shadow Realm for Luki once again. Lana wins it, and it doesn't look good for Humble all of a sudden.
That was such an interesting scenario to happen. The fact that the Shadow Realm just interrupted the super just completely saved Lana's life. He actually is going to go for the different matchup, somehow survives with 200 HP. Now that allows Luki to roll onto Drage. Maybe a little bit of a misplay. I think he meant to go on the Daryl instead here. But still, they're waiting for Tomzy to push up. Still not a single % done to Foot Esports safe. But all it takes with 8-bit and that extra credits is one attack. Semantic jumping in, maybe the wrong opportunity right here, but somehow they're able to actually trade out Luki in time here. And the clock is slowly running down. Humble need to get some damage in.
Lana again with another super, this time takes Tomzy there, gets the better out of that. Gets the takedown. Tomzy falling. Cyclone one shot. Luki the only one that still could push up here. But against the 1v2, you don't really want to push up there. They need some damage though. 30 seconds left on the clock. If Humble keeps the mid control they have right now, they might as well take this game in the end, pushing in the very last second.
25 seconds left. Humble need to go soon, or else their chances of even qualifying for Cologne could be starting to end here, because Cyclone goes down. Lukey, he's going to roll in, but Lanat straight away stusses that one out, and again with the Shadow Realm. Absolutely insane plays right here coming from Lenane, and surely that is just done. They can't go to the safe in time, and some fantastic plays from FUT Esports. They're going to confirm a very important win here. I've got no more words left. It's exhausted me.
It's going to be a 3-3 for FUT Esports now after this match play. 2-4 for Humble. Very close games here. We're going to go all the way to the last set. And I hope, Ark, you're still alive over there.
FUT, honestly, wonderful stuff. I mean, that last set genuinely could have had an entire highlights reel dedicated to Lanal on that Cordelia's pick. It was honestly just amazing. And I was on the fence, actually, regarding that particular brawler on safe zone. It's not necessarily what we saw the other day with Team Queso, was it? It was an entirely night and day difference, and the damage goes a long way to reflect that similar story. Similar number of kills, very, very back and forth. I've got to give a shout out to that Daryl player as well, a knockout to eradicate the P. I thought that was beautiful from Humble. They had their moments, definitely had their moments, but just in the final hour, FUT coming strong.
Yeah, I feel like there's always one player on FUT who excels at a certain time, and when they do, they get the wins. In a couple of sets, it was Drage. In a couple of sets, he got 0 and 5, like he did in Brawl.
Yeah.
Can't let that slide past Drage. But, you know, an individual prowess for FUT Esports really does pull them through quite a lot of the time as well. But it was a great performance from Humble as well. They really put on a bit of a show there, Sonny.
I have to say that this must probably be my favorite match throughout the whole season. So close. And all 6 members on the field, in my opinion, were popping off at some points. The last matchup now, finally we see some Cordelia's action again, and his best mode might just be Heist, regardless of the map.
Yeah, no, me and Ark were talking a little bit backstage about that. Cause like, oh, we don't know if it should really be used here, and we didn't know if it was going to do well. And he said it as well. You know, when we saw Team Queso play it, a little bit on the fence, but it really did pull through quite heavily, and it looked very, very good as well. So definitely something to watch out for. Cordelia's on more maps than just the short-range ones, where you're going to be guaranteed to play against those tanks. And I mean, obviously against the Daryl, it's got a very, very good matchup, but he played it well regardless. That's one game done, and a very, very influential win for FUT Esports goes their way. But don't go anywhere, because we've got Mr. Dozer versus SK Gaming up next. Be right back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, where after a much-needed win for FUT Esports over Humble, they move to a 3-3 and continue their comeback through those ranks. Before we get into the next game of SK versus Mr. Dozer, we're going to go over to Ark, who's at the telestrator, and he's going to break down one of those big influential plays we saw throughout that game.
Thank you very much, Trav. I was tempted to do Heist, but we had a little bit less time in the break than I was hoping for. This was such a close set, and I want to keep your eyes on that man right there, Lanan. Went on an absolute tear in Hot Zone, connecting there with the additional speed to come in, and then you're going to see him in just a minute taking this kind of route through here. His first target is going to be Lukey, and then after that, straight on to Tomzy. And, you know, I gave him a bit of stick about the Sam pick the other day, and today was a day where he really did prove me wrong. It just created so much space there for FUT Esports. It wasn't going to lead to the win on this occasion, but nonetheless, it did avail to a very fantastic moment where FUT came very, very close to that victory.
Well, Ark, thank you very much for that breakdown. It was absolutely brilliant, I will say that as well. But yeah, you know, we were kind of giving him stick mid-game as well. That's the thing, you know, we were questioning that Sam pick a little bit when we first saw it come in against the B, and obviously that last pick still being available as well as the Lou. It was a little bit worrying going into what I felt, because the matchups weren't the best, but he somehow made it work anyway. So definitely a great thing for Lenane to have there. But with that out of the way, with FUT with the win and with Humble in a bit of a rough spot now, we're going to be moving on to our next game. We've got Mr. Dozer versus SK Gaming up next. And it's going to be a pretty big one for SK. You know, we've kind of established already that Mr. Dozer are not in a good position to go to the Challenge Finals. But SK, they're very much still in the running, Sonny.
3-2 is their score at the moment. They need to win this one today to be secure pretty much for the Gamescom Challenge season, Challenge Finals in the end. Even if they win today, though, they still need to make it like next week again, and they haven't been looking as good at the start of this round. They both qualified through Split 2, both Mr. Dozer and SK Gaming, facing each other in 2 cups. One time it was Mr. Dozer taking the game, one time it was SK. They had a little roster switch in the meantime, and looking a lot stronger now than they have been ever before.
Yeah, I'll say, listen as well. We know Mr. Dozer, that they're not sitting in the best spot. They're 0-5 at the moment. But let's not take away the fact that they have the possibility of beating SK, because they really do. And, you know, as you've said, they've done it in the past. They can do it again. SK's roster wasn't as solidified, but we've seen Mr. Dozer roster stay the same for the most part. You know, they've added Giaco in, but whether or not we'll see him play today is a different story. We'll see that a little bit further on. But Mr. Dozer, in terms of their possibilities of beating SK, it's not that high, but it's there, Ark.
Absolutely so. Funnily enough, in terms of the score win to loss differential, Mr. Dozer beat SK more than SK have beaten them. Actually, you know, in Split 1 in the Cups, they got the win in Cup 2, and also there as well in other Cups too. SK are behind, but they were best of 3s. You've got to remember that as well. And at the moment, there's no doubt about it. For me, SK are the team to beat. Mr. Dozer are the underdogs. There is no question about it. But if they can do something unbelievable today, imagine what that could do. And every team has an off day. There's no question of it. But I hope for SK's sake that they continue to keep up the levels that we've seen over the past few weeks, because they have been so explosive on the mark and looking like a very scary team.
They've been looking very scary indeed, considering, like you said, the fact that they started off so slow in basically every competition, then switching to OP. Of course, it took a while for them to get the synergy together. But now they're looking incredibly dangerous, and they could near enough secure themselves a spot if they win this game. So maybe it could play into the other team's hand here, because the pressure's off them. It's all on SK. This might be an underdog story, but we see straight away with Canal Grande, the bans are coming in. Barley, Shelly, and the Grey on the side of Mr. Dozer. And we see Tara, Willow, and a Squeak, and Bonnie first pick.
Bonnie is going to be a great brawler on this map. We see her picked up more often than not on Bounty in general. Canal Grande, usually we see a Carl or an Eve as first pick. Pinball Dreams, by the way, is the first map. Thank you. It's now also correct. There. Pinball Dreams, I do like the Bonnie pickup even better now than I did on Canal Grande. You have a great mid already. RT is going to be the answer for Mr. Dozer. I do like that one as well, but with Bonnie, you just have this explosiveness to it as well.
And it's got the SK buff, hasn't it? I mean, it's like their go-to brawler, and we've seen as well at the beginning of the day. Very, very high picks for Bonnie up at that 6 top level. I think combined there with the Brock. The RT, though, I do quite like. On the side of Mr. Dozer, I saw some great defensive capabilities on brawlable maps. Interesting ban of the Grey. I'm always thankful to see a Shirley ban, for sure. But certainly, we have yet to see those aggressive brawlers come into the mix. Nita is going to be the first one to show its face.
Yeah, Nita's going to be a good shutdown to a lot of potential tanks on this map. And also, okay against Bonnie, because the thing about Bonnie, she might not have the best matchups against RT, but then she could just spring herself onto any matchup she wants, right? Especially on Pinball Dreams with so many walls. It's going to be good for them. So Nita definitely a good retaliation to that pick. And now let's see the route SK go, because now they're kind of doubling down on the tank counters. So for me, they kind of got to destroy Nita here, maybe with a spike, maybe with a thrower.
You see, the thing is, I always find it a bit weird that RT can't keep up that much in Brawl, at least in my opinion. You know, when you drop your legs and you get some serious damage down, I think it's good. But at the same time, it does struggle to keep up with the flow of how fast-paced Brawl Ball is, at least in my eyes. EMS is going to be the answer from SK Gaming, though, and I like it. You know, EMS is pretty much good on, the majority of the Brawl Ball maps that we've got in the rotation at the moment. Stu is going to be the final pick from SK Gaming. Ark, Spent, let us know what you think of that on the way over.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Stu's always a good one for me. I quite like the speed zone potential as well on a map like Brawl Ball, and just being able to get quickly off the back spawn area can go a long, long way. But DPS-wise, does lack a little bit in that respect. But the M's is definitely going to be that kind of insurance policy for me for any tankier options that may continue to add to that Nita pick on the side of Mr. Dozer.
Yeah, you make a great point, and the fact, I think Stu and Bonnie kind of the same characteristics. We'll see a Spike last pick as well, which is going to be good against pretty much everything here. It's good against the Stu with the life plant gadget. It's good against Ems just overall, keeping the distance. You kind of win that fight overall. I was just surprised maybe I didn't see more of an aggressive pick from Mr. Dozer. We have last pick. Yeah. Against Bonnie and Stu, I know there's an Ems there, but there's 2 brawlers you can really kind of hone down on them, but didn't go with that, a bit more of a cautious approach. So maybe you might see this kind of correlate in their gameplay.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head as well for me. I mean, Spike's so versatile, no doubt about it. Maybe they're just a bit concerned to kind of double the lack of range with the Nita and maybe like an Ashe or something along those lines. But definitely the M scared them a little bit. But, I mean, again, Spike has got a great deal of utility behind it. Let's see, though, already OP's marked up in the mid as a result of good taps there from Xiaku, and still keeping them low is always a good thing to have. The Bonnie first sign of super is going to be a concern, no doubt about it, on the side of Mr. Dozer, so they've got to be cautious to not feed into OP too much in these early stages.
Yeah, the interesting situation is that Dorian's actually chose for the third lifestyle power. See Ope popping the Sugar Rush gadget right here. He's trying to get some taps onto Emmerich right here. Does get ball control further forward, and now you can see Chaos collapsing in here. Yoshi should be able to use a breakthrough here on Spike on the right opportunity. He's going to wait for a few ammos to be wasted, but doesn't actually get any kind of control there in the end. And now Emmerich can look to try and scout out Chaos out of this bush area. Xiaku with some really, really important taps there. Absolutely amazing play from him.
Yeah, interesting to see the breakthrough, actually. I wasn't expecting that on the Stu, to be completely honest. And as long as they leave that left-hand side wall to have Chaos something behind it, I think that's going to be okay for SK. But certainly, it's going to deflect a little bit of what Ems can do on that right-hand side now that it's so opened up, but it will also help OPE to connect some of these shots. And now with that super to hand, can go in for those all-important assassination attempts. Good connection from Dorian, will get the slow off and keep then Yoshi low. Big jump in from OPE, gets the life plant along the way, though, gets a bit of healing along the way. As a result, the pull trying to get past through there. Yoshi low to steps. I think Emmerich is going to be too low to really push this through.
Might be able to get the open goal in time, though, and just in time because Chaos was respawning. And even though there was a little bit of miscommunication there with the missed pass, they're able to slot it in the end. I'm a little bit concerned for SK here because we've only got 50 seconds left. I've got Dorian with a super here. Yoshi needs to try and swap this matchup. He hasn't got the best matchup against Nita either, to be honest, but now with a tap with Yoshi, he can start to push in. And with 40 seconds left, SK need to press the W key button here.
Yeah, I love that from Dorian because it can just sit there. Yoshi's got no super, so therefore no breakthrough, and he can see obviously through the bush to see exactly when any attempt was made to come around it. And 25 seconds now, SK have got to get their utility together and start to make this move because they do not want to miss the opportunity. Good gadget pop there from OPE. This could be the time for it. Zaku's a little bit low in the mid, but big taps from Memrick on the left-hand side. Keep Chaos low. He will go down, however. Big jump in on the right. Gets the takedown, gets the 2, but the ball is still far behind. Super shot forwards. Can SK push this forwards? It looks like they can, just in the nick of time.
Wow, my mouth is on the floor right now, but going into overtime, it's going to be pretty hard for Mr. Dozer now. They haven't really got the range to compete with SK. Pretty much all of them are outranged. It's set for the RT. We see a missed, well, actually no, his super in the end, but Yoshi has his super. This could be very vital. Jaco going low. Great taps from OPE. In our super to hand. He's just going to super shot that one in. Wow, it went from Mr. Dozer looking to kind of take the first game there, and then literally SK, they clutched.
That is what makes SK such a scary team, because when they're behind, they're able just to go to 5th gear, and they just change the pace entirely, take back control. Chaos was so low there on the way through, but nonetheless, what matters most is getting that ball in, and like you rightly pointed out, Spen, in that overtime scenario, SK have got the better looking comp for it. They knew if they could just secure that goal, then the rest was going to be relatively smooth sailing.
Now, looking like Mr. Dozer needs to put that game behind them. It might be a little bit tilting because it was on the last second, but it looks all right throughout most of the game. Of course, they had the lead for the majority of it, but it looks okay. Jaco put in the angry face right here. Yeah, I don't know what he's really doing there. He's a little bit angry at something, but he's able to get tapped up a little bit here. The thing is, he needs to keep up the pressure because now Chaos is just pushing in on this wall. He gets the friend zoner. He gets to take down Ope, getting the kill onto Emmerich as well here. Maybe actually, no, not getting the kill in time. Eventually goes down, but that could have been a lot more dangerous for Mr. Dozer.
Yeah, I hope for Siaku's sake he's not mad at his teammates. But definitely seem to be having a couple of issues with the shots there as well, but looking like a better form now as he connects onto Chaos. And again, that super on defense did deflate a lot of what SK were trying to throw. No connection there on the right-hand side. Yoshi just creeping forwards, giving information valuable to his team in that respect. But would like to get the super as well to hand to be able to have the option at least of breaking through and go on the aggressive, but looking to try to synergize that with his teammates now as Chaos gets super. Great takedown of Dorian. The jump in from OPE as well clears up aisle 5 on the left. Can Chaos make this pass through? Great spray! And now Yoshi with the breakthrough should be able to secure it. Pitch perfect from SK.
Picture perfect. I just love the synergy from SK. The fact that one person goes in, OP combines his super, gets the takedown as well, and straight away went from a 3v3 to a 3v1 scenario. That is the SK that we love to see. I knew it was in there somewhere for a long time. They were hiding it, and now they're showcasing what they're really made of here in this Brawl Ball game. But now, Mr. Dozer have 30 seconds left on the clock to try and make something happen. Jaco's getting some good taps onto the lanes, especially with that amplified damage. It could mean, a lane win for Dorian, for example. Emrich's going to push in on Ope. He has to pop Sugar Rush in retaliation, gets a jump onto Yoshi, but now it leaves the goal wide open, and it just survives for SK. They can corner the ball as SK do best, and it's looking really bad for Mr. Dozer.
That was a chance. That was a golden opportunity, but off the line in the final moments is going to mean that the set will go the way of SK. And, they just took control. From that first game, Mr. Dozer came out of the gates swinging, and like you said, looked likely to take the game. And once you have that start of momentum shift, you could go on to win a set. SK just flipped the reversal on that so quickly, and you can just see when they get into that aggressive stance and ready to pounce, they explode onto the map, and every single moment in that just landed perfectly.
Landed perfectly, and I don't know, again, I've got to resonate with the fact that Jaco seemed a little bit tilted. Like, of course, the kind of composure and stuff can really go into the game, and overall how the game's kind of decided. And I just feel like maybe after that first game, it did tilt them a little because they were so close from securing a game. But hopefully they can put that behind them because they need to get this next set, or else, once SK get going, like you rightly mentioned, they can just run away with things.
Yeah, statistically as well, there's not really that much in it. Much more healing on the side of SK, but we saw that quite a lot. Just taking their time with everything, and when there was no stew moments to really capitalize with, they just let the utility shift towards the M's and also the Bonnie, and then started to time their runs differently to that. But I've got to say, for a team like Mr. Dozer, who are really rocking the bottom, let's say. That was a great showing. I think that actually they could have definitely deserved to even win that set the way that they were going, but just SK, when they take those moments, they just seize them. That's what they're so good at doing, and they just take their time. For Mr. Dozer coming into the underdogs, it's definitely not looking as smooth in that respect. And that's kind of what we tend to expect, because there's definitely signs already that they're struggling, but nonetheless, they got that first game looking so good, and they just dropped the ball for a split second.
Yeah, but I think that comes down to inexperience. We speak about this a lot with Mr. Dozer, and you had a great comparison, I think it was last week even, to Dogs to Lobster. I feel like they're in the kind of position of Dogs to Lobster. Like, they're a good team. They feel like they can take some sets away from really good teams, but they can never close things out. But straight away, we're into the shooting star draft here with Grom, Max, and Grey banned out for Mr. Dozer, and RT, Piper, and Tick. And the draft is already unfolding on.
Yeah, I mean, Nani on shooting star it's rare to see because simply it's always banned, actually, and that gives me some decent hope for Mr. Dozer. A Sprout first pick for SK is definitely early days for that particular brawler, simply because you can really work around it. Fang coming in. I mean, it's not a bad shout to have against the Sprout, but it's kind of shifted away from the meta of shooting star, I'll be honest. I think the Grey ban, which they decided to go for, would have been probably better to not ban and maybe bring in instead in that regard. But the Bell, the Sprout, these are all SK ideas. The Bonnie's still available there, and that's the kind of question that I have was, is Fang going to be the play? It's high risk, high reward, combined with the Byron as well. Might give it some more survivability at least.
Yeah, might give it that little bit of oomph that they need, but I like it from Mr. Dozer. They're taking risks. It's what they need to do against SK Gaming, because as we all rightly mentioned, they are the favourites going into it. Of course, Mr. Dozer being 0-5, they have to take some risks, and we see a Gus last pick. I like it, but the problem, I mean, what I think they're doing here is that they're saying they're not really scared of the Fang pick in a way, because let's look at the three brawlers. It's Bell, Sprout, and Gus. Fang should easily win that matchup, but again, we finally see a Gus though. We haven't seen Gus for a while.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it. Like, we saw Gus so much at the beginning of the season, and as we were discussing backstage, just kind of took a bit of a drop off, and you were saying about how maybe the way the tanks are being more early in the draft is making an impact on that. And, I fully agree. I think this is one of the best places for it. I think that I much prefer the draft on the side of SK. I mean, you kind of need to ban a Sprout actually against SK realistically here, because they are just so dangerous with it. I mean, Chaos is one of the best in Europe by far, and if not the world. Let's see though, as Yaku's getting scrutinized really quickly into the mid. These hills from Emmerich are the only thing keeping him alive, and even they are not enough. He will go down, and the lead will go early over to SK alongside that blue star.
The problem is when you're trying to heal Jaco all the time, you're leaving yourself in a 2v3 pretty much. And especially SK, they did it so well, just zoned in on him, pushed him back. I was looking for Dorian for a little bit of an escape route to try and alleviate a little bit of pressure, but SK did it perfectly so far. And now the lead is in their hands, of course, with Chaos. With a super to hand already, he can block off some good choke points. With the unbreakable walls, it's going to be hard for Fang to really seize an opportunity here, whilst you can just see him getting picked on time and time again. And he'll have the life plant gadget as well, probably, to make sure that there's no transplant gadget. Make sure that there's no way that he can kind of push up. Does cycle his super again. Jaco's going to get pinched down. In the meanwhile, Yoshi's looking to push forward and extend onto Emmerich. He's going to get tagged up with the Bell mark, but survives in the end.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be bold enough to go over Fang, you got to realize that SK are not that team that are going to be able to feed you easily. It feeds into their playstyle to be more passive, and they are just doing that behind the wall and just waiting every shot in. It's just feeding more utility over to OP and to Chaos. Peep, is he going to connect? That's the question. It kind of has to at this point with the deficit that they're looking up against. Go straight by the Bell. Dorian will get nothing for his time, and Zaku's still not got super. I mean, SK are just in full control of this.
Yeah, 20 seconds left. Not a single super just yet.
Oh, no.
If he does get his super, he might be able to get a takedown, but OP with a perfectly timed shield, he still can't get a takedown in time. A good double tap that might actually get Gus low at 5 on 400 HP. Mr. Dozer goes down again with Emmerich. I just don't think there's enough utility right now. OP is actually spinning at Jaco. Some mind games going into things right here, and rightly so at the moment, because he is dominating. A 5-star lead in the end. And you summed it up beautifully. The fact that it just plays into SK, it is literally perfect. The fact that Jaco just kept running it again into Chaos, and just kept feeding him Sprout walls. I was just wondering when he was going to switch lane, because it clearly wasn't working.
Yeah, it's definitely a consideration, but the problem that he's going to have as well is, like, against the Bell, it's not a great matchup either. Like, they just gone in with a nice risky idea, which is very flashy and can get some incredible highlight reels, but ultimately it's not bringing in the goods right now. And going in with a slightly different approach this time, and it is actually Mr. Dozer who off the back of it get the mid-control, and as quickly as I'm saying it, the takedown is there, and it's going to surely then change its hand, and Dorian with the return to sender will get something of some value, and somehow Mr. Dozer managed to retain that mid-control, but it's not going to last for long, especially when Chaos gets cycling. It's a matter of time before SK can start to push back away from this.
Yeah, and I think that kind of made me facepalm a little bit. It's the fact that Emmerich was kind of just wandering around. He wasn't healing the Fang. He just completely forgot about it. And then, of course, they can focus the attention and take him down pretty easily. We see the Nanny Peep just, I don't know where that went. Did it just crash into a wall? Maybe he needs to pass his driving test next time around, while his flying test, actually, to get a better connection. But with 1 minute left on the clock, things are starting to slow down just a little bit. We're looking for Dorian to maybe get that pop-off super, but we see Jaco finally picking up super, which he did it a lot faster than last game, let's just say that. But if he gets a connection onto any of these guys, but we see the Cookie Popper being activated to push him away. The perfect reply from Ope.
Yeah, now SK can just heal up. Can this Peep connect before that happens, though? And it will do. Beautiful stuff from Dorian on the right-hand side. And now only 1 star separate this. I love the little nest egg placements there from SK, an insurance policy. If the Fang wants to go in, which he's doing again now against Yoshi, that's going to swing the lead for the blue star. Handed back over to SK with 30 seconds on that Cookie Popper gadgets. They can surely seal this if they stay on their feet.
But Nanny Peep is coming in here. He's trying to sneak out Ope, but great tank there from Yoshi in the end, but now the pressure is coming in from Mr. Dozer. Another Sprout wall, which wasn't really the best placed, I'll have to say, but Jaco's getting targeted heavily here. Gets the takedown, a little bit of breathing space is looking really disastrous for Mr. Dozer. Emmerich tries to super in time. Ope's really weak, but it's just not enough resources left for Mr. Dozer to really do anything important at the end. It was looking dicey throughout that game. I do like what Mr. Dozer are doing. They just can't seem to close things out.
Little cheeky shot there at the end from OP and a thumbs down to say, yep, the Fang wasn't it. And I've got to be honest, in a bit more of a reserved kind of way, I'll tend to agree. It was a nice idea, but you've got to really be able to back it up with something. And their idea to back it up was the Byron. And that in itself is a bit of a riskier pick because it's not really in that place of meta right now. It can bring in some good results, and we saw some great pairings with it the other day with Navi bringing it with the Buzz, but in a big, wide open space map like, Shooting Star, it's just not going to cut the mustard. And SK with the 26 to 12 stars of Mr. Dozer. There were moments when Mr. Dozer made some things happen for themselves, and it was very intense back and forth in terms of the star lines, but they just don't seem to look like they're able to handle and keep their composure when it matters. And against a team like SK, who've got a wealth of experience in that regard, they've just been around the block. They know this game and the competitive nature of this game inside out, and it does look that more often than not, when SK are being scrutinized, that they are so calm and collected around it and thinking about how they're going to retaliate rather than just kind of reacting to the situation.
That's the SK we all love to see, especially at the crunch time. That's what makes good teams. Like, especially through the first few days, results are still important, but especially towards the end, it starts to amplify the pressure. All of those things combined, and SK, they don't even care about the pressure at the moment. It's the 2-0 up at the moment. They're looking to take the clean sweep. And to be honest, I think they need to probably do it soon in a way, because they don't want Mr. Dozer to then pick up momentum themselves and perhaps a reverse sweep, but it would be very hard. I feel like if it was to predict, I don't think we're predicted, but we probably would have predicted similar to like a 3-1-3-0 fashion, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I would say so for the most part. But for me, what Mr. Dozer have to do at this point in time is not let SK get to them. I mean, there's a little cheeky BM going on, there's little thumbs down and stuff, and that's SK's just trying to get inside their minds. And for Mr. Dozer, there's going to be nothing finer than to come back and to prove them wrong and reverse sweep this. Sounds very easy, right? It's not. It's quite the opposite. But they can start with their drafts. I mean, there was definitely holes for me in that draft in Shooting Star. I admire the kind of strategy that they're trying to implement, but against a team like SK, it's going to take a bit more creativity than just that, and a little bit less high risk. You've got to take risks, but I just don't really feel like they made that Fang really work the way that they had hoped that they would. Especially when you look at what SK brought into the mix. It was just such a defensive idea, and they could just kind of sit back and do their thing. You do have to make those moments for yourselves. You have to go on the aggressive time and time again, because where SK's undermining can occur is by simply forcing them to play a certain way, and otherwise they'll just sit back. They'll let you make the mistakes, and that's kind of like how they tend to fare.
Yeah, you summed it up perfectly. And one thing that resonates with me as well is the fact that maybe Mr. Dozer don't have the best synergy. With Byron and Fang, of course, you need really good synergy because when Fang goes in, you need your teammates to follow up. And we've seen one time where Jaku went in and his teammates just was nowhere to be seen. The Fang can't 1v3. So I feel like the synergy was definitely one thing missing, especially if you're on Byron, Fang. Literally Byron and another brawler, you need the best synergy possible. You need to read your teammate's mind because he could be dodging those heals. But we get straight into the Kaboom Canyon draft with Brock, Bonnie, and Spike banned on the side of Mr. Dozer. Spike, pretty interesting ban on Kaboom. But also we have Tick, Shelly, and also the Bonnie. I'm not too sure if they're right, but I know it's definitely Kaboom.
Yeah, interesting start. Eve's not the worst brawler here, but there's definitely options for Crow here. I'd be curious to see whether Cordelius has a place here. I mean, I was not sold in it in Safe Zone, and look how wrong I was there. So, you know, I'm still kind of curious to see whether it's just too wide of an open map. I think that Bell here is going to be a safe pair of hands, and Colette is definitely up there as first pick material on Kaboom Canyon for me. I'm surprised that actually SK went for that in that regard, but the Eve hatchlings can really cause a big problem. You know, we saw it previously already today that, you know, Foot did really well in that respect to go up against it. Yeah, Collect going to come in for Mr. Dozer. I really like that. It's a safe pair of hands, and just being able to keep that mid control will go a long way for them. If they just keep whittling down the safe every now and again with the super going in. Penny going to be combining with that. Definitely a bit more high risk. We'll see how it fares. Obviously, the turret locks onto the safe. It's going to help out considerably, but you know, SK will be playing that with very much in mind.
Yeah, they're playing that with mind. And the thing with Penny, I feel like they might be thinking ahead already. The fact that 8-bit's available here, Penny's could count to 8-bit. That's probably why they doubled down on the 8-bit counters, to be honest. And I was surprised, like you said, the fact that Colette wasn't first picked leads for me to think they've got an answer to Colette, because normally it's picked every single time. If it's not banned out, it's picked first pick every time. I think SK literally first picked Colette on Safe Zone yesterday as well. But we see the Bell response here. This is a fantastic response. It's really good against Colette. Eve's good against Colette as well. And we see the squeak. So 3 brawlers, Colette's not really going to have the best matchup against.
Surprised as well, no Crow yet. It's just kind of interesting to me because, like, considering the pick rates as being so high and it's a great map for it, I'm sure that all of the Twitch chat from North America is screaming it at the screen right now. Let's see what the response is from Mr. Dozer. The squeak, it's not too bad. Not really a brawler that comes straight to my mind on Kaboom Canyon, but since the recent... Oh, Carl, yeah, I quite like that, actually, for Mr. Dozer. The flying hook to be able to go over in really quickly onto the safe and cause some problems that can be followed up by the remaining comp. But what this comes down to me is almost like the kind of skill diff. You know, SK are just that team that can just make anything work. If you took away the teams for here, for me, I'd be looking at the comp on Mr. Dozer's side thinking I kind of prefer it a little bit more. Just based on the squeak pick. I think the Bell here is really good. I think Eve's decent. You know, not necessarily the kind of flashiest brawler that we're ever going to see, but nonetheless has got much more maneuverability around the situation. But the Carl, you know, with the Colette, I mean, I can't really go against siding with that. But again, it's going to come down massively as to how Mr. Dozer can handle themselves, and so far, we haven't seen too much resolve there.
Jaku on the Cole, like to mention, he's a very good Cole player, so I think their hands are going to rely heavily on him. A lot of people going down already here. Jaku can't get the kill in time, because Ope can just safely jump away behind that wall. But now he's getting scouted out. Some fantastic taps from Yoshi. 3 taps in a row to get him down. Dorian with a good super in retaliation. Emmerich down the right-hand side goes down. Control all the way of SK at the minute. That's another flying hook into the middle. It was good for pressure, but then he just gets pinched down straight away. And Yoshi with a little bit of mind games right here. Rightfully so as well.
What a connection from Chaos. And also the patience of OP there just to be lurking in the bush, inches away and just not giving away his position at all. Great stuff, very confident looking stuff here so far from SK, who are now taking full mid control and getting the first sign of damage on the safe. And Dorian going to use the gotcha gadget there and follow up with the super. Kind of like to prefer to see that super being reserved for the right time because the damage on the safe is the objective play here. But juking around this situation, Yoshi not able to find the taps, but close the gap and does so now. Zeka going in, but will he come out? That's the question. Chaos says no.
And that's going to be full control going the way of SK so far. And all things considered, after nearly a minute and a half of the game being played, only 20% damage being dealt. Dorian uses another Colette super to try and give his team something to kind of do, but just dies in the meanwhile. Yoshi's just running into his face and auto-aiming. It just couldn't get any more disastrous than that. Chaos goes for the connection with the squeak super. That's going to be like, wow, that's like 9k damage now. Absolutely insane connection. And now 50% shock with really good super and retaliation. It gets the double kill in the end, but there's a lot of damage that needs to be dealt here from Mr. Dozer.
Yeah, an absolutely disgusting connection from Chaos there. Every single squeakiness there, just landing his mark on the safe. You can't let that happen. Mr. Dozer have got to really come together here and ensure that he does not creep forwards ever again. As you can see how devastating it is, but with just the 2% damage on the safe by Mr. Dozer, it's kind of hard to see how they can start to turn this one around. They're going to try for it, but SK just look very much at home and don't really seem to be pressured much.
SK not pressured much, and now Dorian does get the super to hand, but now he's just got the kill. He hasn't got his super available. They need to get some damage here. Chaos with the double tap in the end, just solidifying his way to that all-important match point in the end. I've got a feel for Mr. Dozer in a way. Like, I feel like they've just kind of run out of ideas, they've kind of run out of steam, it feels like, in this one. They didn't even really get close to SK's save, but they still have a chance. I feel like composition-wise, like you mentioned at the start, they've got a decent comp. They just need to make it work.
Yeah, well, we were saying coming into this one, like the draft was kind of where things were lacking, and they actually really landed a good one. It's just that at the moment, the mechanics are not really matching that of SK. And I hate to say it, but I feel like looking back to that first set, we may have seen the most from Mr. Dozer that we will in this series, and I don't want that to be the case. I want them to start learning from some of these mistakes and starting to take ownership over the objective here, but so far it does seem like, for the most part, SK are doing that themselves. SK will go down. Chaos stays alive here. Taps from Dorian. Do finish off the right-hand side. That will give them some space, but now the respawn comes in, and SK will definitely get their feet stuck into this mid as OP gets the first silent damage.
Emery's just being destroyed here by the Squeak, consistently getting pinched out. And another takedown from OP right there. That's why you're not seeing Penny too much right now, because at the moment, teams have kind of figured it out. They can keep the distance, especially with Squeak in the meta, just destroys Penny even more. The quadruplets are rolling in right here. It's not going to do too much because of the Penny splash. A bit of a missed Squeak super there in the end, but they've still got full control of the grass. And another residue gadget going down, but now that's the last one. But still full control going away. Jocko gets a flying hook in. A really good super, giving a lot of pressure to his teammates, but they need to help him.
Again, I'm seeing a lot of Colette supers. I'm not seeing a single one on the save, and I think for Mr. Dozer here, they've really got to reconsider how they're playing this one out. They've got to get that mid control first and start to make, create some opportunities for themselves that way. Chaos coming in, and again, that side of not learning from your mistakes, because that damage is huge. With OP now and the support of Yoshi, it's hard to see how this is not over right here, right now, and it looks like Mr. Dozer are not necessarily moving that much. The pins are flying. I don't see how they can really do much under the scrutiny that SK are putting them under.
SK have just been full force at the moment. Another collect super used pretty well on defense, and looks like they're actually got a little bit of life here. Again, Jaku on the call. He's doing so much for his team, getting so much pressure. But finally, a collect super lands. That's the first one that's actually landed onto a safe. And they're actually only 40% down, but Emmerich with a really important tap. That's probably his first kill at the moment, but he's able to get the Penny turret maybe in an adventurous position right here. Penny turret's going to get a few taps onto the safe, but it's not really going to close the gap too much, and they've only got 15 seconds to turn things around.
Yeah, this response is going to have to be huge, and Zeka's got no flying hooks at all. Dorian not really on his super yet either. Maybe a couple of taps away, but nonetheless, big returns from OPE, who's going to be able to defend this pretty comfortably, I would say, and it's still not going to be enough. And it's SK Gaming that take this one, and a very important victory at this stage of the competition. Mr. Dozer just didn't get a look in, and that's kind of what we expect from a world-class team like SK, taking no chances and getting the job done. Sunny, did you make it out to be the same?
I completely agree with you, Ark. It looked amazing what SK Gaming was showing us today. I was really believing in Mr. Dozer. I have to say, throughout the last few weeks, they were looking very, very strong, made it all the way, very close. But now in the end, I was just hoping I get to hear you two cast together a bit more than just 3 rounds. I definitely did not want sweep number 4 to happen today.
As I blink and you miss it, it was over in a heartbeat, that was it. So fast from SK Gaming, they really did play it very, very well, composed all the way through. And, towards the end of that, they dominated the first game, dominated the first half of the second, and then they kind of just played defensive once they knew they had it under control, which is really nice from them. Stats-wise, I mean, what can you expect? SK Gaming pretty much on top of the majority of those as well. Looked very, very good throughout today and put themselves in a wonderful position now going on towards those challenge finals. Sadly for Mr. Dozer, it is going to be a 0-6 so far this season. one more chance to get a win on the border.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, stepping in the footsteps of Team Queso last year a little bit more. But, I think Mr. Dozer have had some really great moments. I think that today it was very clear that SK were just a cut above them, or maybe 2 cuts above them. They didn't really seem to look pressured very much. They looked very calm, very, very composed. But again, as I was saying, backstage, I think that Mr. Dozer have got their time still to come. They've got some great players, great promise, but just not quite getting the sets and, most importantly, the wins under their belt so far.
Yeah, well, up next, we do have the game that you've been waiting for all season, Ark. And
Pressure.
it's been a long one. Everybody's been waiting for it. You've been saying A&R might finally be able to upset Zeta Division, but we'll be able to find out just after a short break.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. Halfway through day number 6 now. It's moving quite fast, especially after that last one. But the banger awaits us. A&R versus Zeta Division is up next. Both of the teams at the top of the table, so not that much at stake. But if A&R win, then they're going to be locking in their spots. So they're going to be very happy about that one, Spen.
They're going to be very happy indeed. And this is the one that everyone's been looking forward to literally the whole season, like Ark rightly pointed out. These teams are going to be so evenly matched. Can they match the first game, Humble versus Foot? I'll be excited to see. But in terms of head-to-head, it's not really that close, is it, Ark? I feel like Zeta have had the better hand of them, about 6-1, I think I made it out. That is a quite drastic head-to-head difference.
Yeah, no question about it. Zeta come out on top more often than not here. I mean, these teams faced off 5 times in Split 1 Cups, 1 through 5, and it was only Cup number 2 where actually, A&R got the win. And again, in the BSC in the March monthly finals for the grand final as a 3-1 in favor of Zeta again. But, Rama, Nob, and Alex and Mabius have been showing real signs of growth. And, we saw with Alex on the roster yesterday, things didn't go their way. But then again, Mabius is that real aggressor that comes in and just really gives A&R so much of an opening and space to go in and get the objective really handled. I mean, at the moment, this is, in my opinion, the last chance for someone to be able to topple Zeta. And after yesterday as well, Zeta have already qualified for the Challenge Finals. For A&R, there's much more on the line here.
And Mabius is going to be back today playing with his teammates and maybe showing us the aggression that Ark was talking about. You were talking about it perfectly already. They faced off against each other in every single grand final, and A&R seems to be the eternal second to Zeta Division. Diro, Noe, and Meow, together with their coach Inso, have been dominating this season, have been dominating the BSC as well. Already 3 wins in their pocket. And then also yesterday against Navi, they made quite a good figure. It was going all the way to the very last set, but in the end, Zeta still takes it.
That is the story. Zeta just ends up taking everything at the moment. Can A&R dethrone them from the top? The thing is, Zeta, they have looked beatable. The fact that, especially last game, it went to a set number 5, and actually, out of the 3 out of the 5 games, it went to a set number 5. Of course, it matters most that Zeta picked up the win, but it shows teams are getting closer and closer. But can A&R do it?
That's the question. I'm quite firmly on the side of Zeta keeping their throne and staying up top, but we got to realize as well, if A&R do manage to win it, not only do they guarantee them a spot in that challenge final, they have the head-to-head against Zeta Division, which puts them in a very good spot up top. And I believe the only people who could really change that up is SK or Navi, who have some head-to-heads as well. So that is it's very much up to these two teams who does want to come out on top of this leaderboard, because they're both in a phenomenal spot. But people still do want that seed number 1, because that means you're going to be facing seed number 4 in the challenge finals and have the best chance of moving forward. Alec.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, day 7 as well. I think Zeta are playing with Dozer. So, I mean, based upon that last match, I don't think that anyone else is going to have the chance to really topple.
What are you saying about that?
I'm just saying that if SK and that the leaderboards where they are can't get it done that convincingly, then I think the first on the leaderboard might be able to do so. As the draft coming in now as well. Max coming in as the first pick from Zeta, which is interesting, with the bands being the Crow, the Shelly, and the Stu, and the Pam as well, which is obviously a great brawler to have on a map like Dueling Beetles as well. Banning out the Sam, the Poker, and the Carl for A&R, the first pick in for them is this week.
Especially together with the speed coming in from Zeta Division, Pam's going to do even better so, just walking into the faces of A&R here. A&R with the Squeak already. Squeak, again, to be said, one of the best brawlers we have at the moment, especially in Dueling Beetles, where you can shut down those very clear and definite lanes. I kind of want A&R to win today, simply because they still have the revenge open against Zeta Division. The reason why A&R didn't qualify through Split 1 was Zeta Division. They pushed them down and they had to play in both splits to finally make it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they'll be out to get the revenge today, but they're going to go with that Lola up next as well. Going to be able to tank quite a lot of that damage, able to throw that ego down in the hot zone, use the freeze frame as well, and get a lot of that damage soaked up, which just kind of allows it to slot in behind and hold that. But I mean, Squeak's gonna have a bit of a tough time if Pam does get that max speed and walks right up to him, because he doesn't have that much DPS, and Pam's got quite a large amount of health. But up last is going to be that Bell for A&R. So overall, they've got a pretty decent comp. Going to be bouncing off that healing station as well. But I believe it's about time you guys got going.
Say less.
Finally, I'm back with you, Ark. Yesterday, you left for hosting.
I'm in very high demand these days.
Very true. I mean, who doesn't want to cast with you? Let's be honest here. We have the Bell as the last pick from A&R. The last pick for Zeta Division is going to be that Brock. And I was talking about it a lot of times today already. Probably the most banned brawler today next to Shelly. And finally, we see him in action again. I do like that comp from Zeta Division. just because of the Brock, a tiny bit better.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a great lane aggressor, realistically, there. The range is going to be fantastic, too. The ability to break as well, you know, just to eradicate the bushy areas and also some of the walls. But I like the observation, though, from Zeta to ban out the Stu, because that is an A&R pick any day of the week. Rama loves to play that particular brawler here on Dueling Beetles, so, you know, really getting inside the minds of their opposition, and this is why I think this matchup is so interesting to me, because obviously, who better to have on your team than Rama for A&R, who was on this roster last year prior to the Zeta Division pickup. So having that knowledge and that intimacy with those players to know what the strengths and the weaknesses are as well can go such a long way. Great start actually for A&R, who as a result of these big taps onto Meow as well, onto Navi, will actually get themselves stuck in firmly. And look at that right-hand side lane as well, forcing back Eru. What a flying start.
A very good start for Zeta Division. Targeted bans from their side will help them maybe win this matchup, but still, A&R takes the lead here. Rama, the last man standing in mid, as Nob is falling, gets revenge on Noe. Noe falling as well as Rama. We now have a 2v1 situation. Again, Zeta Division is going to stand in the zone, slowly but steadily picking up some speed now, trying to get the lead in their own hands.
I think Rama's running the heal as well, which is interesting to see. We haven't seen that at all, at least since the most recent update where it was recently buffed, but it is working out seemingly well for them, but now the speed coming in from Zeta will reposition themselves in here, and that is always a good time to have. And you can see now already that entire mid area just completely broken up. But A&R are still in the lead. Mel just going super aggressive, surely going to get burnt for it, and he does. 2 versus 2, but it's still Zeta on the zone, capitalizing on that deficit and starting to even things out.
Zeta slowly coming back here. Garo right away opening up the whole map. Is not only going to help his own team, but also Mebius and that Bell in mid, trying to tap Meow Meow. Meow pushing up on the left-hand side, doing a great job, but still low, falling any second now, pushed back all the way. Rama and Mebius against Noe and Garo in mid now, as Meow has to heal up on the left-hand side. Mebius is one shot. Zeta Division slowly coming back and now taking over the lead.
Yeah, great position for them as well, as another player from A&R falls. Nob is low and he's going to have to heal up. He's got the damage gear rolling in as a little saving grace, but he's got to juke these shots from Garen. For the most part, he is. Maybe it's trying to take the mantle there as the phase shift comes in from Navi. He's marked up, and there'll be a trade out into the mid, but it's still at 2 versus 1 as the survivability of Zeta just keeps coming out on top, and they're behind for a while at the beginning of this match, but now they are firmly in control. They've got their thumbs warmed up, and the first one on the board goes the way of Zeta Division.
After an amazing start from A&R, Zeta coming in and sweeping them off their feet in the second half of the game, taking the win of this very first game. Maybe they can make it a 1-0 up already in the first set, but I do feel like A&R has something to say against that.
Yeah, definitely some resilience still there, but for Zeta, that is the start they wanted to have. And an early break as well will get Meow even faster into that position. Big spray from Navi onto Mavis already on, and always down to 1,500 HP. Some connecting shots, though, will ricochet, but at the moment, look at that. Big break from the mid from Gary, who will connect them to Mabius. Nob goes down. It's not looking good for A&R.
I love that lane switch here from Zeta Division. They want that Brock against the Lola. They want the Pam against the Squeak. A&R now finally realizing their mistake at the start here, switching now sides as well. But so is Zeta Division again. We have the Pam on Nob. Nob can't really push up against it. Has a super now. Not connecting onto Meow. Meow has to fall back regardless, but still, Zeta Division with already 41%, looking very strong.
Meow's going to be a little bit careful with the placement of these healing stations. No one was able to get the last one taken care of, and by pulling that closer, Squeak can really just shoot through the walls and exacerbate it down, but going so aggressive, keeping him back is realistically what's causing the problem more. And he's still in the mix, speed coming in from Navi as well, 62%. And climbing for Zeta to just the 2% of time on the mid. A&R at this rate, they've left this too late. They've got to turn around this entire thing. And with 25% remaining, it's almost done.
80% now for Zeta Division. Finally a sweep here. Meow is falling as well. Meow, Noe, the only one standing at the moment. A&R needs to catch up a long way to still come back from this one. Great shot incoming. What a catch from Garo there. Gets the takedown. The bell is falling. Nob and Rama, the only men left standing here. Meow get hit together with Noe. Double hit from the Squeak. Goal is going to go a long way. A&R slowly but steadily coming back from this one.
They've got 45%. There's still a mountain to climb now, especially with this push going through from Navi, who's low though now, however. Big taps from Mavis, marked up into the mid. Gare on the right-hand side, low himself, and the left-hand side, Meow's pushed entirely back, and they actually are doing this. But the question is, can they maintain this? There's still so much to regain, but Zeta Division are not collecting themselves, and these supers from Nob are landing every single time, and look at that! It's 84% on each side of the coin, and A&R these takedowns might be able to do the unthinkable!
What a comeback here from A&R, 95% for them. All of the sudden, it working, and EUR&MENA does it. Who would have thought? Zeta Division leading with 80%. EUR&MENA says no to that first set, going the way of Zeta Division, equalizing the score in that one.
You see, it's moments like that where I stand by my words, because EUR&MENA can just do scary things at scary times. Zeta looked so convincing there. I mean, 80%. And then just as quickly as that, they just start to really connect with everything they've got. And that's going to be a sign of clear danger for Zeta. They've got to brush that last game off quick and get back to business as usual, because we're all tied up in this set. But against all odds,
it's moments like that that let me have goosebumps all the way. EUR&MENA now all of a sudden looking back and coming back even stronger in this very first seconds of this third round of Hot Zone here, taking over the lead at the start, 21% already. Mebius is one shot there, still tries to go up against Meow. Meow is one shot though as well. Rama will get to take down there. Nobben himself standing in the zone, completely switched around the whole thing.
yeah, Nob on the left-hand side's got Gary locked in. Gadget as well. The Residue's going to force his hand even more so. Bit of connections though, and I think Nob getting a bit overzealous. Somehow he stays out on top and survives on. Gets a connection as well from that. Maybe this will clear up the scraps in the mid. And now it's saying, oh, they've got a substantial lead, 60% to just the 3 of Zeta. I mean, we've just completely flipped the scene, and I really can't believe what I'm seeing. In all honesty, these taps from Mavius are giving him so much value in this meanwhile as well, because they're so clustered.
Now I'm just waiting for Zeta Division to do the same as EUR&MENA did in the round before. 80% for EUR&MENA now. Zeta Division needs to come back right now, otherwise it's going to be EUR&MENA taking this first set after an amazing start of Zeta Division. 10% only left for the taking. They do get to take down. Gero gets to take down to Mebius. Nob is one shot, still trying to stand in the zone there. Gets taken out by Meow there. With only 6% left though, can Zeta Division still hold control for the remaining 1 minute here?
Zeta, I mean, you've already had that happen against you. Now it's your time to shine and prove us that you can do the exact same. As maybe it's creeping forwards, full HP, the speed going to be wearing off now from Navi, and so far 6% is still needed. Marked up, now he goes down. This should surely be it. EUR&MENA will take this set, but against all odds, it did not look like it was going to go that way. But what a turnaround in game number 2, and that was really the turning point for me. Going into game 3, EUR&MENA just had that confidence going into the matchup, and they did the first set.
EUR&MENA all of a sudden looking so strong after turning around the second game in such an amazing, fantastic way. I would have walked out of the studio if Zeta Division did the same now, to be honest, in that third one.
At times, I thought maybe it'd be possible, especially for Max, but honestly, you know, it does require everyone to cluster together, and especially the Pam, and the Bell pick was such a smart one in that regard. Very little in it, by the way, just about 10,000 in terms of damage and 10,000 in terms of healing. More so on the side of Zeta and the heals, more so on the side of EUR&MENA for the damage, but 2 deaths is all that was the difference maker there as well. But the draft was just a really good one for me from EUR&MENA. I mean, you know, again, against the Max and the Pam, those are brawlers that everyone's going to naturally kind of gravitate towards, and Bella's going to get some great value. Squeak is going to get some great value there as well, and just, you know, it took a while for EUR&MENA to find their pace, but when they found it, the difference was noticeable. Let's say that, to say the least.
I mean, we can say here we have 2 of the best drafting teams on the match here. Zeta Division and EUR&MENA are both looking strong throughout the whole season. Now again proving to us that they can draft really well, that they play fantastically well as well. And what we do see EUR&MENA do time and time again is going to be losing the first game and then turning the whole thing around. Even after Zeta Division already catched up with 80% lead here in Hot Zone, they can still turn around games. EUR&MENA is one of those teams that does it better than anyone else.
Yeah, but as we've seen as well, you know, EUR&MENA had that tendency of getting the first set under the belt, as we saw yesterday. And then they kind of like lose their mindset and their thoughts. And again, a lot of that time is due to the map and mode. I mean, Julian Beatles is an EUR&MENA map. I mean, they really do love Knockout as a mode. They're so aggressive in their nature, but very good to judge the situation as well and just force those spawns away from the cycle and just give themselves every possibility to come out on top. And, you know, that is one thing that I'll give them massively to their credit. They're not a team that get like their feathers ruffled easily. You know, EUR&MENA are kind of like, they take it a little bit less seriously, but they come come in when they need to get the job done. And, you know, especially when you look at their social media approach, they don't take themselves too seriously. And I think there's actually something in that many of the teams don't do nearly enough. Everyone is here to win, no question of it. But if you can just take a bit of that pressure off of your shoulders, you know, they've not got a big organization to back them. You know, they haven't got a massive team. So they've got to be closer as a more, you know, knit kind of machine to be able to get the job done in that respect. And, you know, it's definitely a bit of an easier ride when you haven't got to worry about what the organization will be thinking of your performance.
There's definitely a lot of different elements making a team as good as EUR and Zeta both are. One is team chemistry, one is mechanical skills, one is how well can you draft, do you get along with your coach even, and one definitely is going to be the strong mental that EUR is showing us time and time again. We're going to head into the draft of Double Swoosh, our second map for this matchup here. Poker is going to be the first ban here alongside B and Stu for the side of EUR. Picking here Max's first pick. I do like it on Double Swoosh. The Crow luckily is banned out by Zeta Division there. Well, again, lucky for EUR here.
I like the max mid. It's aggressive ideas. Let's see a bow on the retaliation side for Zeta. You know, these are good bans. The B ban is probably one of the most instrumental for me. Squeak going to be an interesting choice. It's going to be able to shut down those lanes pretty nicely as well, though. So the Squeaky residue as well, able to show through the bush on occasion too. I want to see some aggression though match this on the side of EUR. It's going to be paired so well for them. I think this is Cordelius' best map, by the way. I'm really surprised for that reason to not see it be banned out. I mean, you can just get so much value, alleviate so much pressure. I kind of worry for whatever team doesn't pick it up, or whether we might see other strategies. Pam going to come in for Zeta. That's a different strategy for sure. The wide spray, of course, is going to be combined with the vision gear. It's going to give a lot of information, and you can kind of just shoot in the dark a little bit more than you can with other brawlers. So I think it's a really, really strong lane idea for Zeta hit.
Definitely a lot of vision coming in from Zeta Division so far, with both the Squeak and the Pam from the side of EUR. We see a bit of more aggressive comp. Max just was on the side of Zeta Division for this very first set. Now EUR picks it up. Let's see what they go with it. Usually we do see some B alongside of it. Being banned out here, probably not going to be an option anymore. Penny might be incoming now. And maybe what you talked about, the Cordelius. Although, after the last 2 days, yesterday and today, I am convinced his best mode has to be Heist.
Yeah, or picking it into tanks. You know, that's kind of why we're seeing this kind of affair where people are not willing to show their hand too soon as well, because as soon as it does, you know, it's going to just shut the ideas down very, very quickly. Carl, fantastic ideas from EUR. Normally maybe is championing it, and what a great player here is with it. I mean, this is like, you know, Carl and Max combo, it's so fierce. You know, I'm assuming that they're going to be maybe considering the Squeak mid on Zeta. I'm not really kind of sure. Their comp for me at the moment is a bit unusual for Double Swoosh, I would say. It's not bad by any means, but again, they don't really seem to have a mid as far as I'm concerned just yet. But this third brawler for EUR, you know, it could be a really, really scary one. They will have the retaliation as well. Tara, love that. That may have just convinced me a little bit more so for Zeta, actually. Tara now is in such a good spot.
It's going to be amazing against the Carl. The last pick for EUR is the Cordelius, actually, so Ark was right for once. I'm sorry.
Once?
Cordelius is going to be the pick for EUR alongside the Carl and the Max. I do like that. However, this Tara is going to be big trouble for EUR in the end. I agree with you on that one. I don't really see who's going to play in mid for Zeta Division. Maybe it's the Squeak, maybe the Pam. Both could work here. But against the Max, it's going to be tough either way.
It is strange for that reason. Normally we see very defined gem carriers and Double Swoosh as a map. They ban the Genes. They've clearly got a strong idea in mind. But normally if you're banning Gene, you know, Bo would come into the mix on some level, but, you know, I'm curious. It doesn't often, you know, Squeak mid. Okay, I mean, you know, the residue gadget into the mid early on, it's going to land there on that left-hand side, so that will force things over. But I love that from EUR, just absolutely, yeah, capitalize down the left. If you're going to gadget into the mid, then we're going to double stack the left, and as quickly as that, the 3 versus 2, and Nob now got super. I mean, that's a great start for EUR.
Yes, they won the left-hand side lane. No, we're falling immediately, but they're also given Meow some time to pick up the gems in mid. Nob now going in aggressively. Once again, getting the takedown onto Noe there. Meow still standing in mid there. 3 and 3 gems on both sides at the moment. On the right-hand side, with Gero just trying to get a super. Mebius trying to not feed the Terra too much, but it's really just a stalemate on the right-hand side.
I mean, Nob is owning this entirely. Oh my word, connects that one as well. The mushrooms for healing are on the way. Gonna find Gary eventually when this runs out, so he's gonna be a bit cautious here, but going super aggressive. He's left-hand side, he's right-hand side, he's doing absolutely everything. And in the meanwhile, 6 gems in the pocket for Rama. A&R making this look easy. Phase shift away from Rama. He's just gonna be out to come away unscathed. And now another connection as A&R just keep going for the jugular.
Gero now the only member of Zeta Division with some gems. It's not going to be a favorable matchup here as he is the one that has to push in aggressively. Can't really do so as he is the gem carrier on the team right now. Meow with only 1 gem trying to push up aggressively. Now Zeta Division finally showing some life. Waking up of the sleep they have been in for the first few seconds. A&R again though with Rama's speed they can push up quite aggressively and up. Putting Navi into the Shadow Realm, using his super though to push up with the speed. Gero now with pull. Let's see. This is it! No way!
Love that. Flying hook bait away from Mavius just to get the singular gem and just Gary just wastes super in the process. Nob's still going to be going on a tear here. He's got super. He's been cancelled out a little bit by the Mama Squeeze, but now connecting again, and this should be safe and sound. Rama's got to juke his way around, but on the right-hand side, Mavius is keeping back Gary, and the gems are dropped yet again. All go down. A&R still continue to be on top.
Nob absolutely wreaking havoc with this new brawler. Cordelia's coming in clutch here, putting some aggression. He never even decided to really go into Navi, I think, once in this whole matchup. Otherwise, he just used his super to heal up, push in mid, and get the gems to his own gem carry there. We see the moment again, I hope, where in the end Gero would have had the double pull in his hands. Both members with gems from the side of A&R on his right-hand side lane. Sadly, missing the super. Let's see if Zeta Division can come back from this one, or if A&R will go 2-0 up against the undefeated Zeta Division.
I just can't believe Zeta left it open, to be honest. I mean, I don't think they forgot it. I hope they didn't. I mean, God forbid. But, I mean, if they left it open and they didn't forget, then obviously they're okay to handle it. And so far, they haven't been able to demonstrate that they're able to handle it. Nob goes in yet again onto Meow with a great gadget cancellation there as well. And now his next target surely going to be Navi. The pinch is strong between him and Rama. There's nowhere for him to go. It's just a matter of time. But surely he goes down, and that he will. In the meanwhile, maybe it's just the rock on the right-hand side as Zeta have struggled to gain many gems, just 2 in their pockets, the 6 of A&R. And this is looking so good for A&R.
Rama picking up the 6th gem already. Mibis with 1 as well. Still trying to not feed Gero there. It's on the right-hand side, not much is happening on the left-hand side. Though Nob, time and time again, pushing up there. Has another super in his hand. Maybe can connect with someone. Probably aiming for Meow there. Still gets the takedown onto Gero. Falling himself though. Mibis now going in, coming in clutch, getting the gems there. Away. Already countdown here for A&R. 15 seconds left on the clock for Zeta Division to come back.
What a trade-off as well there. Rama stays alive and the gems now all with him. That's actually advantageous here for A&R as long as they can fend off this push. Support from beyond there from Gary's going to come in, but quickly taken care of. And a great connection from Nob. Well, ensure that the super goes nowhere near him. 1 second on the clock, and that is not going to be connecting in time. A&R are making this look easy against the kings of the EU&MENA region.
Gero would have had super there in the last second, but Nob takes him into the Shadow Realm. Protecting his teammate, Rama, with the gems. What a play there. That was so sad to see. Zeta Division now all of a sudden not that great looking today. 2-0 up already. A&R looking very strong.
I'm just going to say it, you can't leave Cordelia open. As far as I'm concerned, more often than not, in the majority of maps and modes, it's just as important as we saw in the bans to ban Cordelia as it is Shelly. I mean, fantastic observations. Nob, I'd love to see the stats for him as well. I think they've probably flashed on the screen and probably missed them, but I mean, he was just absolutely everywhere. And you can just take away so much of the pressure in those final seconds in gem grab when, like you rightly say, you know, you're able to really target on a specific brawler that can have that turnaround potential. Tara has that turnaround potential. So just to eradicate her completely from the mix allows them to focus on being everywhere else. And, you know, for Zeta, they're running out of time now. I mean, they've got to start to up their game, or they're going to get swept. And who would have thought? Can I just add that to the mix? If this happens and we get a sweep, who would have thought of all the instances of sweeps that it would be against Zeta?
I wouldn't. I think I'm not the only one there. A&R, Fair point. EUR making Zeta Division look not that strong. They did have, however, this very, very strong brawler in their hands, and I don't think Zeta Division will miss out on that one again. I'm pretty sure we're going to see a ban now, or even picked up by Zeta Division themselves. Next map could favor him as well. It's going to be Infinite Doom, another map with a lot of bushes. Cordelius could do very well on this one too. Again, EUR, Zeta Division, two of the strongest teams here, and EUR makes Zeta Division look not that strong today. Is it only the draft?
Definitely, I would say that, you know, they're not doing anything wrong in terms of their draft for me right now. They didn't gem grab. I mean, like, they left a brawler which you just can't leave open. And, you know, again, I look for when teams do that as to how they handle that. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with leaving a very strong brawler in the meta open, but you've got to be able to show resilience to that idea. And I mean, Nob went on an absolute tear. I think in Hot Zone, certainly, the draft was pretty evenly matched for the most part. I mean, as was the gameplay that we saw. It was just simply the momentum that A&R shifted up to that then gave them that third game more convincingly so. The bans are in. It's going to be B, Shelly, and Crow for A&R for the side of Zeta. It's going to be banning out the Carl, the Squeak, and the Amber. But Brock's going to be available here, and that's going to be very much high up in terms of the picks and bans, and you know, as well with the Bell. I think Gene first pick for Zeta is going to ensure some heals, but, you know, I think I want to see some kind of long-range ideas, especially if they just control in the mid, will help regain some of that, but, you know, it's an interesting first idea from Zeta.
Zeta Division go with that Gene pick, leaving both the Brock and the Cordelius open to EUR once again. Let's see if they're going to take it, or if they have an own idea at that as well. A lot of good brawlers banned out already. Tara, still, in my opinion, one of the best brawlers in this map. Let's see with what EUR will go here in the end. It's going to be an EMS. That's not something I would have seen incoming here. Maybe another max pick here just to have some aggression. I'm kind of happy though to see EUR really needed to get revenge onto Zeta Division. Losing against them in the BSC, in the Snapdragon Pro Series so far, nearly every single time in the Open Finals too. And now 2-0 up here. Not bad, EUR, not bad. EMS is going to be their second pick here. And alongside with it goes maybe Cordelius if it's taking that long.
Potentially. But EMS first pick is kind of a bit weird to me. You know, I think it's kind of a bit
Gene as well.
Yeah, Gene, it's not necessarily bad for the turning, but you've got to combine something with it. Otis now finally joining that, because Mr. P is not going to help out too much. But the porters, as we know, so immensely annoying. Can stop you healing along the way too. It doesn't look like a fierce brawler, but it absolutely is when you find yourselves completely under the will of those porters. The Otis, though, you know, going to help out with those Gene pulls for sure. I'd imagine it was probably Cordelius as well on the side of A&R, but they are lacking a little bit of aggression as well. Now they could really go into town on that idea. I mean, Mr. P is going to struggle when you're going up against, you know, they're faced with a big tankier idea. The Otis trying to deflate that from their mindset, and the body coming in from A&R. Range, assassination attempts, love that for them.
They could go with anything, long range and tank it is. Bonnie going in here as last pick from A&R. They do have the Cordelius once again. Nobody picked Brock with this quite
That's weird.
Impressive here, quite weird. Yeah, you can put it that way as well.
EMS.
Definitely. EMS is going to have a tough time against both Gene and Mr. P just because of the range of it, but Zeta Division has nothing to break up that map, so EMS, as soon as she gets some control in mid, she's going to keep it and not give it back. EUR might as well be the ones to sweep Zeta Division off their feet today. So far, I do like that draft even a bit better. Let's see if Zeta Division can come back.
The Mr. P is a good response, actually, for the Ems, and they're going to have to be careful as to where the porters lie and maybe swap lanes in accordance to it. Blue Star early in with A&R, and maybe it's very low here. What a shutdown that was on the right-hand side. Great mute there from Nob, and Rummer with the follow-up as well. Now in the mid as well, low HP. Somehow comes out on top of that transaction. Maybe it's so follows things up, and it's the lead back over to A&R. How many stars has transferred in that opening few seconds? Jeez.
Still with the Blue Star, A&R still going strong here, still in the lead here. 8 to 6 stars now as Nob is falling, but still Meebus with the Blue Star here. Both are low, need to fall back here. Roma falling. It's only the Blue Star now that makes the difference here. With the pull here, could come in clutch, misses it onto Nob, taking him into the Shadow Realm now. Gets probably traded off here either way, and all of a sudden Zeta Division takes over the lead here. Still Blue Star with Meebus though. It's going to be a tough one for Zeta Division.
Got a hand at Zeta there. Clearly better communication when the Cordelius goes into the Shadow Realm. They're making sure to whistle him down so that when he comes out of the Shadow Realm, someone is there to make the trade happen there as well. Meow muted out. What a timed gadget there. Nonetheless, though, the lead stays with A&R, and they've got the Blue Star. They've got to be a bit cautious here, but no! Rama goes in and completely captures them unawares. What an amazing amazing moment. I thought that A&R were going to get a bit overzealous there, but that was the perfect time to do it, and Zeta just got caught completely in the moment and forgot completely about him.
Yes, we have to say, whenever A&R tries something with the Cordelia, Zeta Division makes sure that somebody's there for the trade, but then completely forgetting about the rest of the match on the left-hand side there. A&R sweeping, coming in 20 stars in the end there. We don't see that happen a lot ever since Bounty is kept here, but A&R doing it against Zeta Division, even more so of an achievement.
They're clearly starting to adapt around it, and that again is helping me make sense of leaving it open. But nonetheless, it's a big problem so far. More often than not, Great Mutas again. I mean, even just for the gadget, Cordelius is worth banning out. It's just having a Otis Super and a touch of a green button. Rama goes in yet again, gets one. Now he survives just about, but look here, maybe it's going to jump in and get a double. Overshoots it though. A bit of a miss for me, but the blue star is still with A&R. We are all tied up, and a singular gene pool can change that very quickly.
So only the blue star, 1 minute left on the clock. A&R with the match point. Meow with the pool. Let's see if he can hit it this time around, if he can make the difference here in Zeta Division. Would be catching up here, at least in this game. Mebius going back into his Clive form, trying to get some pressure onto Zeta Division, completely taking over mid control now, getting the pull into Nob, taking over the lead.
Rama's lurking, but the super to hand from Navi will mute him out. How did they not see each other there? I can't believe that they are that close and still unaware of each other's presence. And it is Navi who gets the upper hand here, but he's got 5 stars above his head. He's got a huge bounty. If Mavis can get super and time that right, just when he hasn't got the utility to mute him out, or if Nob can go in and get something done here, this can turn quick. But Rama is so low there, surviving on 120 HP. Gadget in, mutes it out, gets the stars for his trouble. Nob comes in huge, 13 to 12, and another to add to the equation, 18. A&R are sweeping this with 10 seconds remaining.
Meow still with a super though. If he connects it with Mebius, it can still turn things around here. Blue star still on his. And Rama standing up top there, getting the last kill. A&R sweeping Zeta Division 3-0. Who would have thought? I didn't.
Wow, one of us on the casting desk has said for many weeks that A&R had what it takes to do it, but I didn't expect it to happen in that fashion. Spen, take it away, mate.
3-0 in the end. No one could have predicted that. Literally nobody. That was absolutely insane, especially at the end. So many clutch plays from Nob on the Cordelius. I mean, I knew A&R had it in them, but in a 3-0 fashion, that was just so convincing, Trump.
It really was, and I mean, they just played it so well all the way throughout. They looked dominant, just for the continuation, and this last game was the sketchiest one, and they managed to close it out with 8-star lead. I mean, they brought it back beautifully after being down for quite a lot of the game there, or at least even and down at a certain point. But stats-wise, 40 to 26, more damage on the side of Zeta Division as well. But if you're not getting the kills, doesn't really matter how much damage you've got. And clearly A&R were the ones who were able to close this one out in a beautiful 3-0. And let's not forget, congratulations on qualifying A&R. Ark, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this game, to be honest, because nobody expected it to go like this.
Ban Cordelius. I mean,
you're not wrong.
The first game was so much closer. You know, it really was. It looked like Zeta were going to take that first set. I mean, it was an incredibly commendable turnaround from A&R to even level out that deficit, let alone take a game and then make it look so convincing in the third. I mean, it really was wonderful to watch. But, you know, after that, they should have learned their lesson from the Cordelius in that, you know, second set. I just don't know why they just didn't really consider it more highly, considering that A&R had already demonstrated immense skill with it. I mean, they just didn't have an answer.
To be fair, Cordelius didn't have a great win rate after yesterday's match. Today, so far, 100%. Whoever picks up this brawler is going to win the round. Let's see if it's going to be continued after this one.
It's a bit of a tough one there for Zeta Division, but they're going to brush that one off. They're going to the challenge finals anyway. I'm sure they won't be too fussed about it, but obviously now they don't have that head-to-head against A&R. We still have one more match left today. Team Queso versus Navi will be the last one. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, You're willing to be first for 'em. Ha. Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series, and I've got to say, I was again over before we could even really think about it, and what an unexpected way to see that third game go. 3-0 to EUR&MENA is just not what anybody would have thought. But we've got to move on from that game. As sad as it is, I'd have liked to see it go further, but up next we do have Team Queso versus Navi, and I think it's going to be a decent one as well. Team Queso not in... They're not completely out just yet. Navi are in a great position though, and I think you've got to kind of put all your eggs in one basket and say Navi are probably going to come out on top here, right?
You'd expect so. You know, one thing to say as well is that tomorrow Team Queso will play EUR&MENA and Zeta will play Mr. Dozer, which I think they both kind of might be on to win. I mean, EUR&MENA could be stealing that #1 seed. But you know, speaking of these two teams, Navi, of course, MMA, Cube, and Angel Boy, they are a force to be reckoned with. So scary. I mean, they were match point yesterday against Zeta. And that in itself, it just goes to show how fierce they can be. And in terms of like their sort of background history with Team Queso, in the BSC April monthly finals, it was a 3-2 in favor of Navi, and that was in the semi-final stages. So you know, they are a team that push teams all the way and still tend to come out on top more often than not, but it's the drafts for me at the moment that are their scariest factor.
Well, Navi's looking stronger and stronger throughout the weeks, apart from Team Queso. It's kind of doing the opposite, 2-0 in the first week, and now all of a sudden not looking that strong. Not 2-0. They won at least the game. The other one was very close. Now Navi is going to be an opponent they have to look out for here. I was hoping we don't have any more sweeps in this season. Now already 2 sweeps today. I hope we're not in for a third one.
I kind of hope for the same. I'd like a closer match between these two teams, but I also don't think it's out of reach to say that it might go through in the way of Navi. They've been playing so well throughout the whole of this season. Focusing a little bit more down on Team Queso, though, Javi, Boss, Blacksea, and Seal. I'm actually not even sure who Seal is, to be honest with you, but maybe Spen can give us a bit of an insight, and if not, just talk us through what they've been doing.
Seal is actually a pretty decent player. I didn't expect to see him on a TQ roster. Maybe he's actually subbing in here, but overall, it is Navi that come out on top a lot of the time. 3-1 overall, but recently, on the Split 1 Cup, Cup 5, I believe, TQ did actually win, so they've got the upper hand recently. Maybe this could be something that might be in the heads of Navi overall, but I've just got to point out again just how strong Navi looks. It'll be pretty hard for Team Queso to really face off against them because you've seen them against for esports. They had their moments, but overall it was pretty fast loss. So I got to agree with pretty much everyone on the couch here that Navi just looked too strong.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Team Queso, they're a good squad. They've got a good roster, but they don't really seem to be getting the results. With that out of the way, we'll kind of skip predictions because it seems like we're quite heavily already into the draft. I feel like we've kind of got a bit of a feeling of what's going on anyway, to be honest with you. But Ark, start us off.
Gene ban and Gene pick there might not be necessarily true, but the A bit, and on the other side of things, the Mr. P, the Tara, as well as the Squeak. First pick from Navi is a Ruffs, and I quite like that for them actually, because I mean, over time it can really lend a lot of value over to their teammates as well. Otis from Team Queso coming in as well. Interesting for Hard Rock Mine. Clearly, there's having that insurance policy. I mean, the eventuality of tanks coming into the mix, it can shut those ideas down, and then we know what Navi are like. I mean, that's the nature of their very game.
If you ban any tanks, it's always going to be against Navi, of course. With the Shelly ban, Team Queso did so just as much. With the Gene pick there already as first pick, I don't like picking my mid as first here on Hard Rock Mine immediately because Navi still has a lot of options. RT is going to come in now. He, of course, can just throw out his legs, maybe saving the gems back into spawn. Usually what we like to see against the Gene is going to be the 8-bit, but he's, of course, banned out. Team Queso did great there. With the Ruffs on the side of Navi, they have something against the Gene pool there. RT's not going to do too shabby against it too. Team Queso now needs something with a little bit of more, how did you call it before? Oomph.
A bit of oomph. And they go with a Crow as a last pick. I mean, Crow, pretty versatile. I don't know about Crow lane. Like, Crow lane can be decent against Otis, I guess. I guess that's the matchup they're going for. Also, the healing debuff against Gene, it's pretty decent overall. I thought you kind of got two mids there. It's a little bit awkward. And last pick is on the side of Team Queso.
Well, it's about that time again. It's going to be Carl as the last pick. Get over there, get cast in this game, and let us know who you think is coming out on top.
I do like Carl. It's not the oomph I was looking for, but still a great brawler to be picked up there, especially by Team Queso that are shining time and time again on this brawler Spen.
Yeah, I do like Carl. Carl is a brawler that Team Queso tend to rely on more often than not throughout even years of watching Team Queso play. So they're having to rely on some safe brawlers here, but I'm interested to really see that the addition of Soul, I believe, the addition of him, seeing if it can maybe play in the hands of them, because let's face it, they're not in the best positions 1 and 4. They kind of need to try something here. It's literally do or die for Queso. They're basically out if they don't, well, they're out if they don't win this, so they really need to win this one.
And even if they win this one and the next week, we rely on some other results over the next match day as well. It's going to be the last match of the day. Let's see if it's going to be a close one. I hope for it, of course. Boss already alone, the left-hand side, so is MMA. They're getting targeted by Seal now, and it's quite an interesting thing to see here that we have the Carl that is one of Team Queso's best asset, and it's going to be the new player incoming with that brawler.
Yeah, I mean, that's a statement and a half. Going probably the hard carry out of all the 3 brawlers. He's got to be doing something right here because 6 gems already on the side of Navi, 7 already in their pocket, and a treat for Cube as well. He's going to be even more tanked up, so it's going to be pretty hard for them to really deal with anything. Flying Hook actually confirms the kill, but a great supply drop there to get the retaliation. The taps coming in from Cube as well. MMA pushing for that final kill, and there's only a couple of gems left for Navi. It's looking so easy for him right now.
2 more gems, but Boss does have his super. Maybe he can connect it with Cube. It's gonna go a long way if they can just snack away those gems from the hands of Navi here. 1 more gem, and it's gonna be already a countdown for Navi there. Navi now trying to push up on the left-hand side. MMA is low, gets pinched out here. Maybe he's falling anytime soon. Great hack in coming here from Q with the gadget. He confirms the kill, and the 10th gems is being picked up. 15 seconds now. Reset for Team Queso has to fall now.
The reset has to fall, and the slowing toxin coming in on Cyril. He's going to be pinched down eventually. No one in sight for Team Queso. A gene pull to Mars, and there's just no way that they can actually make a comeback right there in the end. And I just really didn't see too much from Team Queso. Like, it's just full control for Navi. I'm a little bit disappointed to not really see too much. Maybe it's just team chemistry, right? Got to give them a little bit of slack. This is their first game probably together in terms of Tier 1 competition, but it's just too plain sailing. Again, I know Navi really like tanks, but Otis, it just doesn't really tickle my fancy on this map. It's just so easy to beat down the lane.
Nobody else can talk as well about Gene gameplay other than Spen LC himself talking about the Gene pull to Mars. Let's see if Team Queso can come back from this pull or if they're going to stay on their planet. Ball's now coming in, already picking up 2 gems, 2-2. 3 minutes left on the clock. Everything's still open, but after that game we just witnessed in the first round, it's going to be very hard for Team Queso to not be broken. I hope their mental is still up there.
Yeah, mentally, they just need to recheck themselves because Boss is doing a much better job this time around. He's getting the scouts in, getting the vision, and now he has the pull to hand. One thing to note as well, Angel Boy is actually running, of course, I forgot what gadget it's called. He's not running sandbag gadget, so he can be pulled. All 3 members basically can be pulled unless Cube gets his super. So one thing just to note right there is now Boss can push up, even though the supply drop is in the hands of Cube. He's got a pretty decent position, but I'm looking for this call to make an aggro play because that is more meteors coming to the sky and they're getting pushed back. Boss is really weak here. Cube's just commanding the center. Angel Boy's pushing the Cole back into spawn, and Cole should be winning that matchup pretty much all of the time, especially with the flying hook. The slowing toxin is coming into hand. Abby, he's going to get hacked literally through that gadget. Soul going low as well. Things are looking too good for Navi right now.
I heard the gene pool going off, but I didn't really see. Boss didn't connect it. Once again, 9 gems on the head of Navi here. Cube only with the pickup of 1 more can already start the countdown here. Boss is falling, gem carry down. Seul now with the gems, which is not something you want. He's the aggro brawler on the side of Team Queso. Countdown already for Navi. 15 seconds left on the clock. Finally, Boss hitting an ulti. But it's not going to be the target he wants to. Cube still alive here. Now, Javi and Boss pushing up there. But with a full alive RT, it doesn't look like Team Queso can still recover from this one. And Navi takes the first set 2-0.
Navi takes that one. Really, really clean gameplay from them overall. Cube was never really troubled whatsoever. That's the one point I want to make the most, is because obviously as a gem carrier, you want to be making the pressure with the cold, flying hook, getting in and behind, especially on a map like Harder at Mine. And he was just dancing around the middle. He even had time to put out pins and he was just happy in there. You know, he had no threat whatsoever. MMA with some good pressure as well overall. And it was just a typical kind of Navi gameplay. And again, another point is that they let the roughs go in the hands of Navi. Pretty much, I would say, 95% of the time. If you've got roughs on Harder at Mine, you're going to win. So just draft 101, but getting it wrong even before the game started.
And we talked about it today before, that if you change the roster like that, it's going to be a tough one for the team to keep up the team chemistry. Looking at the stats here, not a single gem dropped by Navi here. That's exactly what Spen was talking about. No pressure at all onto Cube. He was just able to, like, that was a Sunday stroll, collecting those gems without getting threatened at all.
Yeah, I mean, considering as well, the Gene had pulled multiple times. We didn't see that really utilized whatsoever. A little bit disappointed from Team Queso, but they can put that one behind them. Hopefully, they've got a bit of a better mental going into the next round. Maybe that's one thing I would think played a big play in terms of their previous games, because they're always really close to beating some teams. Like, I think they had some really close matchups. Not sure, was it against? No, Zeta sweeped them. There was a few really, really close ones. There was a couple of 2-3s in there. But
SK and Humble.
SK and Humble, 2 really good teams. I'm glad you mentioned that. So, for me, they've got it in them. They've got the talent. They just need to get the chemistry down together, and no better way to do it really in Gold Arm Gorge.
But coming in today's match day on such an important match for them as well, they need to win today and next week, otherwise they're out for good. Coming in with a new... Okay, I was about to say coming in with a new player and then not banning out Shelly. Well, this is...
Yeah, that's just...
Ben, it was lovely to cast with you.
Nice to
finish
meet
this
you.
one.
See you later.
Bye.
I mean, it's
honestly,
2 in a row now where the pretty much the best brawler like on the map. I know like Shelly could technically be the best brawler on Harder at Mine, but with the bans considered, like leaving Shelly open, they go with a Ruffs and a Gus, which is pretty decent into a Shelly. Like Ruffs is good against Shelly a lot of the time, but let's face it, it's Shelly. Like, she's going to get a good matchup pretty much all of the time. And I've seen, I believe, Angel Boy on the Shelly before in Canal Grande, and he had like 7 stars on his head. against counters. Like, this guy's unbelievable on it. And we see a Squeak and RT as well in retaliation. Yeah, you're shaking your head. It's not looking good, is it?
I'm really believing in Team Queso's supremacy. They showed us over the last few weeks that they have it in them. They, as you said, had a 3-2 against SK and Humble. Two very strong teams, made it close against Zeta Division as well. Took at least a set, but now drafting like that. I do like the Gauss. I kind of like the Ruffs. I kind of like the Eve, but giving Navi all of the brawlers they want here, RT once again, and Shelly, and the Squid. Well, this is over.
I mean,
I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Team Queso will take this one.
Yeah, okay. Team Queso will take this one. That's more like
Yeah,
it. But
yeah.
you can't really, you got to shake your head a little bit, right? Like, you've seen how quickly they picked up the Shelly as well. That must have been an instant pick. They must have been laughing their heads off in VC. Shelly pick, come on, you can't give them that. But I mean, there's no better way to really come back in a game mode like Knockout. Like, I feel like that probably caters more so to the underdog. I don't know if I'm right in saying that, but I think it is, because you've got that passive gameplay and all you need is one kill, and as soon as you're in a 3v2 scenario, you're looking good. So it's just down to this first kind of interaction right here, but we see nice little passive gameplay, and at least until the end game, we don't really have to worry too much about Shelly.
I mean, to be fair, if Team Queso wins this one against the Shelly and the RT, I'm very much convinced they can take Navi today 3-1 after that lost first set and turn around the whole story of Team Queso in the Snapdragon Pro Series. Let's see if they are able to do so. A lot of pressure from the side of MMA right at the start here with Squeak. Of course, you have a lot of area control. Boss already with the first super. Those hatchlings will come in clutch here. Maybe Team Queso gets a first good push.
Eve Hatchling's going to be coming in here. Cube's going to be really low in the middle. They need to take advantage of this as soon as possible. Not allow them to heal up, because both of them are pretty weak, but it looks like Team Queso don't want to over-aggress. I mean, I'll be saying straight away, we need to keep pinching these guys back. They eventually get back to full HP. Cube getting pretty low again. A nice cookie popper and a great shield onto Boss. He's going to utilize the stop power really well with the extra damage. And now MMA somehow alive in behind. They can't allow him to get in behind. He's getting a lot of damage in. And I thought somehow he was going to be able to clutch that one really close in the end. But Team Queso finally some signs of life.
Team Queso takes the first round. I love to see that, honestly. Navi now trying to do a different approach here, coming in from the right-hand side. Hatchlings coming in once again here, pushing back Navi, and all of their pressure from the start is gone again. Super coming in from MMA, not connecting to anyone. Boss jumping away there. Great plays by Team Queso incoming here. Javi must be really close to his second super as well, with Steel already treated by him. It's going to be a lot of damage output from the side of Team Queso.
Boss coming down the bottom hand side. He's getting a great pinch in with Javi as well, getting some nice shots, trying to scout them out in the bushes, building up their supers pretty well overall. Team Queso are looking fantastic in this game, but as you are well aware of by now, if you're not, I don't know what you're doing. Shelly is the best brawler in the game. You've got to be so careful, especially once this Clay Pigeons comes into play pretty soon. I would be running scared for sure. We'll see Javi pushing in here against MMA. He's getting pretty weak in the end. The Clay Pigeons is popped though. Ultimately, doesn't really actually do too much. Not really getting too much damage. Does build up his super though. We see the hacks coming in pretty soon from Cube. Javi's getting pinched in by MMA in the middle here. We see Cube using his super to full effect here. And Navi are able to cleanly take that one in the end. Really well played though.
We have to mention though, Angel Boy so far not getting as much value out of the Shelly as we were predicting him to have. Not a single Clay Pigeons hitting there, Seal with great dodges incoming. And now we're back to start. Basically, both of them take one round. Let's see who can take the first game here of Knockout. Would be a very important one for Team Queso, especially since we flamed their draft so much.
It would be pretty funny to see them actually win it, considering like how bad of a matchup we thought they had overall. But like I said, I feel like the slow gameplay really benefits them overall. But now they need to keep their head, because Angel Boy has this super. He probably has the Band-Aid stop power as well ready to pop to get closer to them to destroy them. But now the chip shots are coming in. The gas is going to slowly close in any second now. Boss trying to build up his super. Really needs some quadruplets to help him against the likes of Angel Boy. We see so much HP on the side of Soul here. Like 6k HP in the guts. That's going to be pretty hard for the enemies to really deal with. A great takedown from Seoul actually on the left hand, well, the bottom hand side. MMA is going to get pushed all the way back. Angel Boy, there's nothing that he can do in a 3v1 scenario. Even though it's Shelly, there's 3 people. He can't take them down. In the end, Team Queso really well, like played so well in terms of pinching and playing as a team.
Yeah, Spent, they're making us look really stupid right now. We stand corrected. Team Queso taking this first game despite the not so favorable matchup here. Still coming in clutch with some cookie poppers there. Javi doing a great job as well, just trying to get his super, buffing his two teammates. And that, as you said, that slow playstyle really favors them, doing a great job at it.
Just going into the next set. All things considered, I feel like Navi can still pull this out of the bag, but they're going to have to do this from behind for sure. I feel like they need to get this squeak onto the roofs as soon as possible. Like, that's a matchup I would be straight away onto. I mean, he's kind of keeping him at bay. I feel like he should definitely maybe go to the top of the map and stop trying to worry about this Eve. That might be able to get them a bit more further up the map, because so far, with Shelly just sitting in the bush, there's not much pressure really going on the side of Navi.
May still trying to get some control over mid here, does a great job at it against two people in mid. He's standing his ground alone, Angelboy just waiting in the bushes to have his time to shine there. Boss now getting a pinch off onto MMA. He has to fall back here. Team Queso with the mid control here. Boss falling low, has to fall back there. Heck coming in as well. He's on 450 HP and still surviving, still thriving there. Team Queso slowly but steadily getting pushed back. This looks like a round for Navi here. 3v2 situation though, Angelboy and Cube versus Javi and Boss. Now Javi the last man standing from the side of Team Queso. Navi takes this one, looking a lot more convincing than in the first round.
Definitely looking a bit more convincing, but the thing is, I don't know, I still don't like really the matchups that Navi are really kind of putting out here. I know like Angelboy has to just sit there and not feed super. He's actually going on the wide flank here, like he's outside of the picture, but I think he's trying to push in behind enemy lines. Actually, no, he just comes back instead. That would have been pretty interesting to see that play overall, but again, it's the slow game. Team Queso think they've got the slow game in hand, but time and time again, it feels like Navi do have the later game, just simply because of Shelly. And also, you know, QB can pop his split and deal a lot of damage in the meanwhile. So they're recuperating, getting a lot of HP. Nothing much to really shout about that right now.
And Maycube just trying to get the super, trying to hold control of mid. Team Queso doing the same really much. Javi, of course, trying to buff Seoul as much as possible to give some survivability to the Goss in the long run with that star power. Can come in clutch later on, slowly but steadily. Smoke is coming in now. Boss already gets taken care of. Falls to the hack coming in from Cube there. 3v2 situations. Steel is falling low there. One shot is falling. Javi in a 1v3 can't do anything with the roughs. This is going to be Navi clearing out and equalizing the score here in knockout.
That's more like the Navi we want to see. And considering they've got the Shelly to hand, maybe they'll a little bit complacent. I feel like complacency probably played a factor into that, because that second game was just pretty simple from overall. They just got a clean sweep, 2 straight rounds, and they'll be looking to close things off pretty shortly, or hoping so anyway. I mean, for me, again, you know the Shelly's going to get pushed back. You know already the late game isn't going to favor you, so I'm not too sure what Team Queso are kind of waiting around for. Like, I've done the maths, and they're not mathing at the moment.
Doesn't look like it at all. Team Queso can come back from this one though. We believe in their draft, of course. Cube trying to go up on the right-hand side. Navi again with a different approach here, trying to pinch them a bit more. Team Queso still just playing from the top right-hand side to the left-hand side bottom. And gaining some mid control now, gaining some momentum. Boss is getting tapped up though with another shock cube. Could have already getting rid of this guy. Again, Team Queso with the mid control. But again, Navi just looking into getting their first round.
It's a little bit better from Javi, especially at the top of things. Getting his supply drop already for his teammate. Cube's going pretty weak here, but needs to try and get the pinch as early as possible. Does drop his split in time. He's somehow going to be able to survive thanks to the recording star power. Angelboy's going to get a kill onto Seoul. Javi's trying his best with the supply drop, getting a kill in the meanwhile, but it's just too much for him to do. Too much tankiness from Cube in the end, and it just still looks so calculated from Navi, even with all the chaos. They just prevail every time.
Doesn't look good for Team Queso now, as we do see all members of Navi with another super in their hands. They're just waiting for overtime to hit right now. As soon as the smoke is coming in, just pure ults onto Team Queso. It's not going to be easy for them, but I still believe Team Queso can take this one, maybe equalizing the score overall, taking a set from Navi here.
They need to do something fast though, because momentum is a scary thing, especially on the side of Navi. MMA, he's getting a few shots his way, uses a residue gadget quite early to be honest, but maybe he's looking to wrap things up in this round because you want to be making sure you save that in case it gets into round number 3. Supply drop going the way of the Gus. He's going to be super tanky, nearly like 7,000 HP. That is kind of insane, especially towards the end of things. And if you combine that with a 4,000 HP shield, how are you going to kill him?
Cube takes care of Boss's super there on the right-hand side. Boss almost takes care of Cube, though. He's falling in the end there. 3v2 situation here. Team Queso can come back from this one indeed. Boss is getting shielded there, trying to go in aggressively onto MMA. They do get the takedown there as well. And the Ninja Boy decides to not feed any supers from the side of Team Queso, just going in the smoke. 1-1. And it could be anyone's game here, as it is also 1-1 in games overall.
This is as close as it gets in knockout now, but Team Queso, they need this one. 2 sets down would be disastrous. It'd basically be confirming their exit. They need to win this one. Their backs are against the wall. Overall, I liked it. I liked that second round because they just combined a lot better. The team chemistry was there for sure. They need to do that more often, I think. I like it when Team Queso go a little bit more aggro, especially since they're kind of replacing Blacks here, the most aggro player. I was kind of worried about them before, but I guess their composition isn't as aggressive. But that's all we can really talk about right now because it's just a back and forth. No one wants to overextend. Nobody wants to feed too many supers overall. And we see Boss definitely holding on to his super in the late game. It can be definitely influential.
Talking about the Switch brawler, though, the Switch player here, Seoul and Navi are showing us that they do indeed have some team chemistry here, playing together so well. Boss on the lower half, though, gets stepped up. Cube still with a head catcher, but it wasn't enough to take care of Boss here. Boss, in the end, together with Javi there, in a great pinch, they do get rid of MMA. 3v2 situation now. Seoul and Boss both low. The hack is going to get taken care of. Seoul there, 2v2 now. Javi falling, Boss still last man standing. This is going to be Navi's round. And Navi's set 2-0 up again. And again, Team Queso just coming short after a very close match here, especially with the draft that both Spen and me weren't really fans of.
It's just a story of Team Queso, isn't it? Like, they look so convincing in so many different ways, and then they just don't pick up the W. Like, it's unfortunate. Obviously, good teams know how to close things out, even when they're not playing well. I guess we cut them a little bit of slack because of the roster change, but I got to feel sorry for them sometimes. They did play really well, but going 2 sets down to Navi, it's going to be pretty hard for them to really do anything. And also, by the way, the Cube at the end managed to survive again at 169 HP, but also just a little bit before that, there was like a 1v1 with, I think it was Boss on the Eve. He just survived narrowly, and I think that literally won them the game. So you can see by the stats as well, the damage clearly going to the side of Team Queso. I mean, we saw the game plan, Shelly just sitting in the bush, so I'm not surprised. A lot more supers, but that didn't get them the win.
It's just so unfair looking at the stats as well. A lot more damage coming in from Team Queso as well as 23 supers, and still it wasn't enough to go up against Navi's comp there. Navi's playstyle, they always waited out until the very last moments to then come in and just collapse over Team Queso. It was a very close one in the end there. It could have been Team Queso's game, so I still believe in them. They still can take at least a set, maybe 2 from Navi. For 3 sets, it has to be a reverse sweep now.
Yeah, reverse sweep. I mean, I'm hoping there's not 3 sweeps overall today. So Team Queso, they need to pick things up pretty fast. And going into open zone, honestly, I don't know if I have faith in them. I feel like in hot zone, Navi just seem really strong, the way they kind of play. They've got to do it quick. They really have to. The momentum's clearly on Navi's side. And they need to get the first round as soon as possible. They need to get it, basically.
And it could be another map where we see Navi playing out that RT that no one else has picked up so often like Navi did in this tournament. We didn't see a Brock incoming, although it wasn't banned out. Neither of those 2 teams decided to go with him so far, so definitely not going to be our most picked brawlers this week, this match day. We're going to have the bans in now, Poker, Crow and B on the side of Navi, Bonnie, Stu and Crow from the side of Team Queso here. Crow double ban, is he really that good on this map?
I'd say it just counters a lot of different brawlers. Like, of course, he can kind of get outranged. I just think there's maybe a lot of different brawlers you want to go, like the Max, for example, even the Stu on the Navi side, maybe if you really like Angel Boy and the Stu. But if we go with the Pam first pick, I mean, we all love your mum, but it can leave itself to get countered too much, I think. Pam first pick, beefy. I just feel like you could go certain brawlers. I don't know, even like a Colette maybe a bit too early on, but you get what I mean. Like, I feel like she can get counted.
You were talking about Mastery title, not my mom, right?
Yeah, I was talking about the Mastery title, by the way, chat.
Just making sure. There was going to be a pick up here from Navi. I do like that brawler, especially into the PAM, where you can just feed off and cycle your super even easier. We talked about it a lot before already. Lou, one of the best brawlers on any single hot zone map, especially in an open one like Open Zone. The name is basically the game here. Second pick for Navi could be something to deal with it even better. Bell could be coming in as well as the Penny. With the Crow ban, you don't really have a lot of options for that right-hand side anymore. With the bushes, maybe an Ember. There she is.
Yeah, Amber's pretty decent on this map. I was probably looking for a Shelly. Like, there's literally no Shelly ban. I know it's a very open map, but we've still seen it excel on this map quite a fair amount. Maybe we start to see at the end of the draft. It's not unusual. Of course, she's the best brawler inside of the game. Amber, I like it. So that is like double kind of focusing on the point. You got Lou Super, you got Amber, Oil. Trying to think of a super name. You've got basically a lot of ways to confirm percentages, and Pam's not good against any of them, really. She's okay against Amber, like, can do decently, but then again, she's just going to feed both of these brawlers.
Bell is not coming in for Navi. It's going to be on the side of Team Queso here. I do like both the Pam and the Ember because you have some vision. That right-hand side is going to be closed off in the bushes, so you always want something to either get rid of those or with a lot of spray. We have both of those taken care of already. Team Queso still lacks something on the left-hand side or even mid. Let's see what they're going to go with here against the Ember and the Lou. You could still go with something aggressive, but Navi, they have to keep that in mind, still has the last pick. So maybe aggression is not going to be the way to go here. Squeak is going to be the last pick here for Navi. Makes me think Team Queso probably picked up Cordelius.
Maybe Cordelius? Oh no, they have... Oh yeah, true.
Navi had the last pick.
Yeah, Navi had the last pick, that's true. Kind of threw me off there. So it is interesting. I mean, Cordelius, if he is picked up, is a very open map. It's extremely dangerous, and we didn't really see the best use of it yesterday with Harvey. Like, I don't want to roast him too much, but it wasn't the best. It was missing a lot of supers, and we've seen Lana instead do so well on that brawler. So maybe he's watched Lana and then can pop off instead. But we're going straight into the game right now. Team Queso need to do it now, or else they're facing elimination basically pretty much straight away.
We do have to Squeak, Lou and Ember from the side of Navi, and indeed we're going to see Javier on that brawler again. Cordelius on the left-hand side against MMA. MMA himself played some amazing Cordelius yesterday, so he's showing us how to play against this new and very strong brawler there. Cube already burning up the right-hand side, as I was saying. And now, well, Team Queso trying to push in again. 0% in the zone so far. Javi doing a great job there, jumping in, but getting pinched immediately by 3 members of Navi.
I think we could be seeing 100% to 0. I'm just going to throw that out straight away. Another residue down the left, a loose super down the right, Amber Oil everywhere. Arvid's trying to create some space, but boy, he's not really doing too much. I mean, he gets to take down onto MMA. Overall, the Pam's slowly pushing him to the scrap sucker, buying a little bit of time. Javi's at least in behind here, getting some pressure for the team. Pam's going to go down straight away, but they're still clocking so much percentage. 80% lead so far. Another Shadow Realm available, but all 3 members around Navi are around Cube to help him survive. At least he might get a bit of a percentage here, but 6% left, 5%, 1%, maybe. Oh, they did it, 1% in the end. Oh, it's match point for Navi. I just got to laugh there, 1%.
I didn't know you could be so mean, Sven. You just proved it to us that Sven indeed can be a bit, yeah, British humor is there. I mean, that opening that Javi guaranteed his teammate was huge. He got almost a double takedown there, opening up a window for Blacksea and Shield to maybe come in as well. But it just wasn't enough. Interesting to see for me as well, Blacksea is indeed here today. So Team Queso just decided, despite all 3 members of their roster being available today, still to play with Steel.
Pretty interesting. I mean, they've also been trying stuff in scrims, and things are clearly not working, so good time to kind of try things out right now. Good Shadow Realm from Javi this time around. He is using a star power that allows him to pick up mushrooms to get that extra HP, to allow him to push up a little bit more. There's definitely the kind of Cordelius gameplay I was looking for. Unfortunately, gets traded out in the end, but it's definitely a pressure a lot better than last time around, but still 0% gets frozen out as well. At least Pam got the kill in the end. Blacksea's going to fall to the Squeak as well. He's got the Shadow Realm available, but goes for a max range hit. It's going to take him forever to get back that super.
Communication on the side of Navi looks so strong here. They know exactly where Javi is going to be coming out of the Shadow Realm. Every single time he does hit the super, Navi just gets the takedown onto him right away. Javi now trying to get back his super. He does have it, survives on 9 HP and does get the takedown on Change Boy. Maybe that's the opening Team Queso was waiting for here, trying to push in here. Javi in the Shadow Realm trying to heal up there, not getting the mushroom just in time. At least they're on 8% now.
Yeah, 8% is definitely better than 1%. And now Navi look to close things off. Only 10% left. Cordelius has 0 range, so he can't really push in. He uses his gadget to try and bridge a little bit of the gap. Gets taken down, and now Navi can confirm the victory right here. 3-0 sweep. Very convincing in the end. It was just painful to watch. No Cordelius range. 3 brawlers that could just spawn trap them. It wasn't really the best of attempts. What do you make of that very dominating sweep?
Sweep Central today, it seems, here at the Snapdragon Pro Series. And, you know, again, the might of Navi is always a tough thing to go up against. And Team Queso just never really found their mark. And, you know, I've got to say here as well, the Cordelius pick is not a bad one, but just look the way that Navi really valued it. And they were there for the support. And on the time and time again on the left-hand side, that Squeak did a great job against it. But when it was up against the heat, the whole of Navi came together to take care of it. 15 takedowns to the 5 only of Team Queso there as well. And everything else relatively close together. A bit less healing on their side for sure. Definitely certainly more damage on the side of Navi as we kind of fully expect. But a very convincing win for them.
I mean, in that last set specifically, it was a complete lockdown. Residue on the left, Lucy was on the right in that first game especially. And then from there, we saw a little bit more from Team Queso. They had a few moments, but still, 8% was all they managed to get in that second game, 1 in the first. It's not the best, to put it that way. But, to be honest, it's been a very fast day. They're keeping up with the rest of the teams. We've had as many 3-0s today as we have in the rest of the season, Spence. So something must have happened. Maybe it's just your presence makes them feel like they need to sweep.
I've never heard so much rubbish come out of your mouth.
Oh, I've heard more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he can always top himself there. But 3-0 sweeps across the board. The only one I was most disappointed about was definitely the one before this, A&R versus Zeta. But it was still fun games to cast overall. I did enjoy myself, and you know, thank you guys for welcome me to the cast.
I say it's been a pleasure to have you here, Spen. You know, he's crying because he's leaving, not because he's anything else. He just wants to stay with us for long. That's what it is in reality, and specifically me. Just got to throw some ego into there. I feel like I haven't really expressed my true self as much as I have in the other days with my over-the-top ego. So we'll throw that in as well. But at the end of the day, it's been a great game day nonetheless. Even with all the sweeps, I think the games have been of a decent standard regardless, and especially that first game really did. It set us up for quite a long day, and then it kind of flipped on its head and we had some quick ones. But I believe we do have those top picks and the top bans coming in very, very shortly to see if it's changed yet again from the previous game days. I mean, it's very close, but we're seeing some more familiar brawlers out.
Yeah, absolutely so. You know, Bonnie again, just so versatile. Squeak, so suppressive in his nature and able to shut down so many lanes. You know, Bell as well. Again, so many of these game modes really do cater towards the majority of what we see on the screen. Not too surprised to see these familiar faces making a return, but you know, nonetheless, you know, they're just outside of that banning phase stage. They're not necessarily the hardest of hitters in the current meta, but they are a reliable pair of hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, the top brawlers, we see it change week in, week out. That's probably the most similar we've seen it in comparison to the previous game week, but obviously not as much Brock, which means it probably was banned out a solid amount more. We should see that in just a second as well. And Brock is actually... It just dropped off the face of the earth. And like, how does it go from being one of the top picks to now barely even being on this? Look at the bans. I mean, Shelly was banned out so much. And I believe in maybe the one instance it was played, it did get a win, Sonny.
Well, Shelly, Cordelius, Squeak are going to be our top bans here. Squeak, both the most picked and one of the most banned brawler. He really had a moment in every single map and mode. Must be a really good brawler to pick up here. Crow and Poker coming in again, not that big of a surprise, but I actually love to see that every single match day, even not only every single week, we do have a different picture.
Yeah, do you have any thoughts on this, Spen, in your analytical mind?
I mean, I just liked that Cordelius felt stronger today, and also towards the end of yesterday, the first game day as well, is the fact, like, I thought in my head, maybe we're overrating Cordelius. I was kind of getting a bit scared here. Like, everyone was saying it was broken, insane, but I think it's left a decent mark, but you can at least counter it, right? You've seen an open zone. there is ways to kind of defend it, especially with good communication, like Art pointed out with Navi, all grouping together on the zone. It just requires a lot of communication.
Yeah, it does. Well, let's take a little bit of a look at the schedule for the final game day. Game day number 7 will be next Wednesday, not Tuesday for next week. Ark, what should we be looking forward to?
For me, I've got to say, a very important day for SK versus Humble, especially if Humble can bring something out of the back pocket. Arguably so more for Foot versus Navi. That is going to be their biggest test so far, and Foot need that win. But Team Queso to start things off versus ANR, and ANR again, have got to be in contendership for that #1 seed up against Zeta Division, who will face off against Mr. Dozer. Again, at that first stage, that can make a big impact when it comes to those challenge finals. So those first 2 matches, definitely nothing to gloss over whatsoever.
Yeah, I will say as well, I think it's pretty clear which one's the big match, that Foot versus Navi game. I believe if Navi lose that, then they'll be sat on the 4 and 3 as well, right? So we're going to have a few teams down there on that 4 and 3 fighting for that last spot. But also, make sure to follow us over there on the social media at ESL Mobile on both Facebook and Twitter at ESL_Mobile on the Instagram for all the latest news on on Brawl Stars and all the other games as well over on that ESL Mobile account. And be sure to go and join the Discord as well. Discord.gg/Snapdragon Pro Series if you want to get involved in future seasons, because we'd love to have you. All it takes is get a team together, give it a go, because it is the era of everybody. With that social call out of the way, we've got any closing thoughts, guys? I'll start with you, Ark.
Again, I'm just blown away by the level of competition. Just when you think you know it all, you have ANR come in and sweep Zeta Division. Stuff like that makes me live for Brawl Esports, makes me live for the Snapdragon Pro Series. When it comes down to that final play day, I want to see even more of that stuff. I want to see some close, intense matches, some tiebreakers, and some upsets.
I think I stated enough already that I'm really a 3-0 hater. I don't like sweep at all. I like to cast my games a bit longer. At the same time, we did have some great matches today. I had goosebumps in every single one of them I casted today. And I also had some feelings going. I really hope Team Queso can recover next week. I don't know. I'm still rooting for the underdogs here, and we're going to have some great matches upcoming next week as well. So I'm happy.
Sven down the bottom, any closing thoughts?
Well, it was a pleasure to cast alongside all of you. You beautiful people are watching from behind the screens. It was amazing just to see how it's actually done. Like, I've played, I've casted, a little bit behind the camera, but actually being in production, like the amount of effort production puts in, the amount that goes on behind the scenes. Of course, you guys in chat always supporting, of course, the teams and also these beautiful people. I've really enjoyed myself. Hopefully, some more opportunities to come.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Great having that analytical insight that you do provide, being the top echelon of player and now sliding into that top echelon of casting as well. That's what I like to see from you, Sven. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you here, and thank you very much for joining us over here in the casting booth. With that said, we'd like to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy, DHL, and Monster Energy as well. And a big thank you to everybody at ESL for keeping the cogs turning in the background and putting on this beautiful production and allowing us all to be here. Thanks to the teams for putting on a good show. Thank you to all of the chat for watching. Until next time, we'll be back soon.
Got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show. Everything raw, give it to me now. Let me have the spot, man, it's going down. Gotta get it here, I don't wanna wait. Take what I want, then I go train. Gotta get a win, I won't lose the game. This is my year, I ain't gonna break. Strap in, cause it's gonna be a long ride. Working on me every single day and night. There comes a time when your worlds will collide. If it's holding you back, push it right to the side.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal. On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter, get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here.
On another level, I will never settle. Mind over matter. matter. Get the gold medal on another level. I will never settle. Mind over matter. Get the gold medal on another level. I will never settle. Mind over matter. Get the gold medal on another level. I will never settle. Mind over matter. Get the gold medal.
Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. Ain't got no time for no fear. I work too hard to get here. I don't got the time, put me in, coach. I've been going hard, time to let it show.
The Snapdragon Pro Series powered by Samsung Galaxy is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt. Push through the hurt just to show them my work. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test. Like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed. So now let me flex. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt. Cause I know my worth. And I gotta be first. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me. How'd I turn pain into energy? Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first. Welcome to the place where dreams come true. Where everything you want can be yours. If and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha. Yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha. Yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first. Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them, you're willing to hurt for them, but most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha, look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting? It's hot. Look what I got. Whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast. I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy, and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes. I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete? Well, get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'ma work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.